There we go. Finally. Okay, now we're up and running. Now we're working. Jesus, kick was being a pain. A big old pain. A big old pain. Alright, give me a second to get myself all reset up here. Zoopity zap. Well, what's your question mark? Why is your question mark? It's up now. It's working. Yeah, so it's twerking. It's twerking, bud. What a day, buddy. What a day, huh? 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 Ooh. Hoo-hoo. Oh, it's lovely. Oh, it's wonderful. Oh man. The cope is so hard, bro. Oh my god, I'm loving it. You got to come up here and talk with me about this at some point today because this is just so great. It's just so great. Big Mad, and I'm glad he's Big Mad. Fuck him, he sucks. He's realizing that his axis of evil is slowly dying. Oh my goodness. What a day. Iran looks so weak right now. It looks so weak. So weak, bro. So cucked, bro. Just so fucking cucked right now, Iran. Oh, you gotta jump in Tiny's chat. Tell people to come on over. Ayatollah's doomsday clock that predicted Israel's destruction froze because it lost power. Amazing. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Amazing.
Amazing. Amazing. So good. It's so good, bro. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, Ha ha ha. Oh, the beautiful irony of this. The beautiful irony of this, bro. How amazing is that? Don't forget to jump over to Tiny's chat. Tell people to come over. Do it. Get our friends all over. Come on, buddy. I believe in you. Oh, this is lovely. Huh. Sucks to suck, bro. What a bitch. What a bitch. Oh, no. We lost an Israeli citizen. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, dude. Let's see if we get any hits. We got any hits? It's garbage video. Nothing. Nothing to see there. Okay, thanks. Thanks for nothing, Antonio. Useful. Oh! Talani, you can join my Discord. It's listed in my About section. Thank you for the follow. Is that going to put us in 99? Oh! One away! One away! Let's go! I was expecting something like this, hoping there would be no deaths, but with explosions and shrapnel from interceptions, sadly, it was probably inevitable. Yeah, but we don't know like the details of like how they died at this point, right? So it could have been because there were a couple strikes, like they got through a couple times. Those dastardly meddling kids. We would have gotten away with it too. I believe the town hall was hit. Oh. In Tel Aviv. Here's the difference too, is like Israel is targeting military targets. They are going for military targets. Iran, with guided ballistic missiles, does not appear to be doing the same thing. Are we surprised? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say we're not surprised. Because it's Iran and the fucking Ayatollah. Oh, they hit the airport. And they told their people to evacuate the airport. That tells me they were keeping military assets at their fucking airport. Envy! Welcome! How you doing? We are basking in Israel's success right now. Feel free to join us. Should we have Mika? Mika, as so Envy, you might not know this because you're a new viewer, but Mika, my dog, is actually a Trump voter. I tell you, Basil, there's a literal genocide. Thank you, Anna Kasparian. Thank you. So my dog is actually MAGA. She's a Trump voter, and it's so like we know it's shitty, but the reason why is that she's like, you know, hardcore extreme Zionist. And so she's super stoked right now. So I'm going to have her come on and just share in the celebrations here. Mika, come on over. Come on over, baby girl. Come and say hello to everybody. You tell them how happy you are. You're a happy girl. Hey, oh no, tanky hat time. Tanky hat time. Which one do we go with, boys? Do we want to go with the navy one, right? With all the little medals on it, or the officer's hat? The officer's hat doesn't fit me very well, just so we know. These are both from Soviet Russia. We got them. I'm not doing an Elon salute. I'm a Jew. I can't do that. My mom said she's trying to watch tonight. Hell no. All right, let's go. I'm gonna go with this one, and then we'll play our usual. Hang on, check it out. Hang on. Yeah, yep. Hi, babes. Hi, babes. So we've got our tanky hat. And we're gonna do our remix of the Russian national anthem, because that's what I do when I wear the tanky hat. So. Thanks for joining. Mwah. I love you. Go ahead. Go on. Get out of here. Go on. Go on. Good girl. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Let's pull it up. Apparently, Israel used the same method Ukraine did to neutralize anti-air defenses. Mossad smuggled in drones to launch en masse to hit various anti-air batteries. Also, I gotta add, these are Russian S-300, S-400 systems that suck. Yeah, they have all that old shit. See the videos Mossad release of agents launching rockets within the country? I don't think so. Do you want to drop that in the chat? Yeah. All right, let's see. Is it this one? Do we want this one? I don't know if it's a good one. You're not nope, that's an advertisement. We'll wait. We're gonna wait. Guys, we are one follower away from 100 followers. One follower. All right. This is what I do. I make myself... Because, like, a new person coming in here is going to be like, what the fuck is this shit-face fucking tanky doing? New people, I am not a tanky. This is jokes. This is chat-redeemed rewards. You're right. Just so we don't get it twisted. So people don't come in and think like, oh, this fucking Hassan wannabe. This hat is not... Hang on, let me adjust this baby a little bit more. There we go. Oh, the Charmander's perfect. It does kind of have that MIDI Pokemon feel to it, doesn't it? I thought 4chan was dead. Alright, let's see. Alright. Alright, enough of that. This is the other one that I have, by the way. For the people who don't know, I got these when I was living in Russia from 1996 to 2000. So this was right after the fall of the Soviet Union. So a lot of that shit is like legit Soviet Union shit left over. And we picked it up when I lived there as a kid. Kinky roleplay hats. I probably have some more. I'll have to figure out. I want to figure out more goofy things for chat rewards, because we all have a lot of fun with those, right? Even this stupid fucking retard goddamn chicken dance that you guys make me do. Ah! By the way, where's neighbor Rooney? Where's he been? I need him to say what's up. He likes to do the Robotnik ones. All right, let's take a look. North Korean uniform with more medals than the uniform? No. Unfortunately, North Korea is not one of the countries that I have lived in. Let's go. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Bro, such victory, bro. Hassan looked so sad. It was amazing. Is he still alive? Is he still alive? Yes. He is still alive. Guys, do we want to hate watch Hassan right now? How do we feel about this? How do we feel about a Hassan hate watch? No, please, no. Fair enough. Fair enough. We get enough of that with Tiny. Let's see this. Let's see what chat is saying right now. I kind of want to look at what chat's saying. God, I don't understand why people want a chat like this. Like it's crazy. It's insane, bro. Like why do you want a chat that's going so quick like this? How do you even know what the fuck is being said? How do you have conversations? Handle after Anna. Oh my god, dude. That was so bad. That was so fucking retarded. Anna was like scraping the bottom of the barrel, dude. That was rough shit. She was saying some of the dumbest stuff. I mean, like, okay, so I was talking with Alexander331 in Tiny's chat earlier when we were watching that. And tell me what you guys think. I think, the lefties gained a lot of like goodwill from normies and groups like that on the whole like Gaza issue, right? Because of like their stance on Gaza, they gained a bunch of goodwill. People were like, "Yeah, we'll stand with you on Gaza" and shit like that. And that's how they were able to make like inroads and grow their group. But if they're going to have like this sort of stance on Iran, I feel like they're just fucking that. They're totally erasing any of that goodwill that they've built because people are going to hear them stand for Iran like this. And they're going to be like, "Bro, what the hell is fucking wrong with you? You're way off." What do you guys think? Like, not their own audience. Their own audiences are totally ideologically captured. But, you know, like the normie people who were like, "Yeah, these guys are fighting for Palestine. I don't like what's happening to Palestinians." And who were like paying attention to their points of view because of it. I feel like they're really pushing them away. This is like really, really dumb. And if they keep with rhetoric like that, goodbye. I am kind of worried about the New York race, though. I am kind of worried about the New York mayoral race. Yeah, but that's 4chan. Yeah, yeah. 4chan is fucking unhinged. Jenk is Borg and assimilated Anna to the hive mind. She even talks and shouts like him now. Wait a minute. Does she say golly gee? That's what we need. Oh, that's a sound bite. That's a good one for the soundboard. Let's see if I can find that. Please. Please give me a golly gee. No. You monster! Yeah. The Jenk Uyghur soundboard. What do we got here? Give me a golly gee, please. Nope. Do they have you monster though? Nope. What kind of fucking shit is this? Lame. Lame. Well, there goes that idea. That would have been fun. That would have been a fun one to have. Golly gee. Oh, man. Jenk and his nephew, dude. They're like, no wonder they're family. Goodness gracious. All right, let's see. Do we want to watch... Do we want to do some live coverage, maybe? A little bit of live coverage? How do we feel about that? Some live coverage while we Factorio. And then if there's anything you guys like want me to watch, because I'm kind of open today. Well, actually, you know what? I had some news I kind of wanted to go through. Since everything was fucking Israel and Iran, there were a couple things of news that were important, I think. So, did you all see the Quinnipiac poll? Yo. My boy is sagging. Sagging hard right now. Ooh. It's so funny, too, because you look at, like, Quinnipiac, which is, like, well respected as, like, a good pollster, and they're, like, his approval is at, like, 38%, and it's, like, underwater by, like, 16 points or something like that. And then you go to Rasmussen, which is, like, a notoriously fucking right-wing pollster, and it's, like, +8 approval. And you're like, what? How are you in that world right now? Like a couple weeks ago, I could understand Trump gaining some approval back, right? There was sort of like a lull in his shit. Things sort of went back to normal for a little bit. He was pulling back on stuff, and because of that, his approval rating was kind of bumping up a little bit as well. But lately, like, it's just been blunder after blunder, stupid shit after stupid shit, and so like it's been going down again. But Rasmussen is like, no, everybody loves him, just so they can feed it into like Fox and all the different like groups who love him, and they can like parade it around and be like, look how much everybody love Trump. It's pretty funny, man. Like, that's what I always look at when I look at the polls, right? I always try to see if like what shit Rasmussen is spreading at the time, because sometimes they'll be in line with the other pollsters, and sometimes they'll be like way off in fucking Narnia, away from everybody else. But it also annoys the shit out of me because it throws off the averages. Whatever. I don't need to complain about polling. Everybody complains about polling. Anyway, yeah, this wasn't good for him. Not a good look. Very bad look. So that's where we are for Trumpy. Next Trumpy thing. In the least surprising thing in history, because, you know, we've all been fucking saying this. Oh, whoa! Oh, look at that! You did such good work in research, and you found out that this immigration shit, this immigration shit is impacting farmers negatively, financially. Oh! Who would have known? Who could have known that was going to happen? Who? And if they did, why didn't they say anything? Oh, wait. They did. All of us did. We were saying that for fucking months. And here you are, actually doing it and going, oh, I'm so smart. Look, I figured this out. We're going to save the farmers. Hey, retard. We've been saying this the whole fucking time, okay? We've been saying the whole fucking time that this approach to immigration was going to fuck us agriculturally. It was going to cause our prices to go up, all right? And here you are, figuring it out months later, even though we've all been telling you this the whole time. Ugh, it's so fucking annoying. What's this? What do we got? Okay. This could be good. No. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's almost like soft power matters. Wait, did they like what happened? Did they suddenly start like talking to a fucking liberal or something? Like, what's going on? Why are they suddenly like realizing all the shit we've been saying was right? What the fuck is happening? Someone explain this to me. Why? Why are they doing this? Do they really just have to fuck around to find out? They couldn't have just done it the easy way by listening to what people with experience were saying? They had to fucking be retarded first? Oh, yeah. And I'm disappointed in Marco Rubio, because Marco Rubio already knows all of this shit. But he was just bending over and doing whatever Trump was telling him to do. Fucking dumb, dude. Like, I don't even have much commentary to add to this because it's like, no fucking duh, bro. No shit, dude. Like, what did you think? We've been screaming this the entire presidency. When you've been trying to, like, tear shit down, we've been saying, don't do this. Soft power is important. It's important to spread American messaging around the world. It's important to show people that we have, like, other interests, or that we have interests that include them around the world. And now, after you've gone and done things to, like, ruin that, you're coming back and saying, oh, maybe we should. Maybe we should do that. I would have loved for you to have done that without making them bad in the fucking first place, but I guess late is better than fucking never. Now we have to spend time rebuilding our relationships, but we'll see. We're starting with Iran. Let's see if that extends to other soft power. We'll see. Maybe they'll turn around and be like, you know what? Maybe shutting down USAID wasn't a great idea. Maybe that wasn't a great idea. Maybe we should be helping people in other countries. Maybe that helps us build relationships and it helps us look good. You know what? You know what, though? If they do that, I will be mad, but I'm going to try and keep my anger very short. Because I don't want to, I want to, reward them for doing something good. Right? Because if we treat them like shit for doing something good, they're just going to say, oh, well, fuck you then. So, see if we try to do this again. But fuck! Alright. What else? That sounds gay and libtarded. I want to give Peter Thiel $1 trillion instead. You heard about the death threats Olivia Munn got just for saying she didn't watch MS Rachel with her kids? I don't even know what that is, dog. I'm going to be honest with you. What's MS Rachel? When we flaming Anna Kasparian? Oh, we'll do it. I think yeah might end up getting a rope, but I want to have fun with it. I want to watch. I'm sorry, yeah. Miss Rachel is a children's programming star on YouTube. Okay. And why is she getting death threats for it? I'm gonna pull up the Anna Kasparian interview. I'll have it ready once we get through the news stuff I want to go over, and then we'll jump into it. We'll do it at times 1.5. I can't find it. Can somebody find it for me real quick? The Anna Kasparian thing. She makes videos for kids. She's been compared to this generation's Mr. Rogers. She spoke about Israel and Gaza and helped raise funds for Gaza charities. I'm still not understanding why she's getting death threats for not watching something with her kids. Oh, and then Al Arabiya English actually has another video that admittedly I did pre-watch, but it has Tiny on it. Did you guys watch that one? It was from just a couple days ago. If you haven't, I want to watch that one afterwards because that was really good. Well, it wasn't really good. This other lady's a fucking idiot, but Tiny was good. And there's a really funny moment where like Tiny is like stone faced the whole time, but then at one point she says something so fucking crazy that even Tiny goes like, and it's just so funny. His face is so funny. By the way, another thing that annoyed me, this Al Arabiya like host lady kept calling Elon Elon. Did that annoy you guys? That annoyed me. All right. Well, next thing. I'm sure you guys have probably already heard about this, but this is a big deal for all these people who deny that Hamas fucks with aid deliveries. Woo! What up? Bam. There it is. So, multiple aid workers were killed after a bus was attacked in Gaza Wednesday night, according to a U.S.-backed humanitarian aid organization, which accused Hamas of carrying the assault. It got so bad people had to take down the article. I still don't understand why. People released Olivia Munn's story after Ms. Rachel comments draw threats. Deleted a story from his website was that it triggered violent threats against the subject, the actress Olivia Munn, and her family. The story was about Munn's distaste for children's television and bore a headline specifically citing the popular YouTuber Miss Rachel, which apparently triggered some fans. There is no excuse for these abhorrent attacks. We'll always prioritize safety above all else. Okay, but what was the fucking comment? 44-year-old actress. Oh, no way. She's married to John Mulaney. Doesn't let her watch Miss Rachel. I know kids love Miss Rachel, but the thing is, if I can't watch it, I'm not going to spend the rest of my life going crazy. Not a fan of Blue's Clues or Spider-Man. Okay, nope. Now I get it. You know what? I think she didn't get enough death threats. With her husband, she doesn't care for Spider-Man. Her husband is John Mulaney. Her husband was fucking Spider-Ham. Get your head out of your ass, Olivia. Jesus. No, obviously this is fucking retarded. So is it the Gaza people? Is it the Gaza people, Daniel, that are sending death threats? Nah, of course. Of course. Yeah. Yeah, even this woman is like, what are you, fucking stupid? Are y'all fucking stupid? They don't name them, but nothing else makes sense, yeah. It's no, because everything has to be about Gaza now, right? Like, we all watched the fucking ICE protests, right? We all watched the ICE protests. What was that one particularly cringe chick in New York? Oh my god. I need to pull that up. That shit was so dumb. This is the ICE protests, right? Keep in mind, guys, what I'm about to show you is... Hey, Casper. Thank you. And I appreciate it. And you can chime in whenever you want to. Mwah. Gaza protester. Now remember, this is in New York. This is an ICE protest, right? Oh, Sasper. Don't worry. Sasper will come around. Wait, before you go, let me just have someone special come and say hello to you. Come here, baby girl. Come here, baby girl. I know there's somebody here who wants to see you, who hasn't gotten to see you much lately. Okay, come here. Come say hi. Go say hi. Go say hi. Oh, who's that? Who's that? Oh, that's right. That's right. Mika content. Oh my God. You see her? You see her just putting her head into my arm? She's just the sweetest. She's just the sweetest. Oh. Oh, Jack Jack. Give Jack Jack a big hug for me. Give Jack Jack a big hug. Look at this. I love you too, baby. Alright, get the fuck out of here. Go ahead. Good girl. Okay. Cosmic! What's up? Let me find these dudes, because they were being so cringe. And it was, like, really funny, right? Because they're doing, like, their chants. And, like, as they do the chants, then, like, they start, like, doing some chants in Arabic. And the people who were, like, chanting with them before, as soon as they start hearing, like, the pro Palestinian Arab stuff, like, a bunch of them just stopped chanting. Where is it? Oh, come on. Let me find it. I saw it the first time I was watching. Hutch was watching the protests on his live stream. People didn't clip it. That's annoying. Someone have to find it. Hang on. She's Shepherd or a Malinois. So she's 66% Shepherd, 66.66666% Shepherd, 33.33333% Pitbull. But yes, people often ask if she's Malinois. Yeah, because of that snout. Let's see. Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, she's very unique looking for sure. Come on. No, it was so cringe. It was so cringe. Come on, man. Sounds like she's heading out for something, Daniel. So if I'm still on by the time she comes back, she'll probably be on for a little bit. Oh, come on, man. I really want to find this because it was so cringe. Oh, I might just have to find it in like one of the live streams and like nail it down. God damn it. Let's see. Hmm. No, I'm so bummed, dude. Oh, because we were reading a thing. Daniel sent me an article about Olivia Munn getting death threats for saying she doesn't watch a particular YouTuber. Man, oh, I really wish I could find this week. Should get death threats for being a bad actor. That's very normal reaction. Oh no, my watch. Best Mun performance. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really know any of her shit. Oh, yeah, I barely remember her. Mm-mm. Damn it. I really don't want to give up because it was so and it's gonna be like so short. Yeah, of course I've seen the newsroom. It's such a short thing, and I'm spending so much time trying to find it. But man, it was so fucking cringe that I feel like I have to because they hijacked the fuck. You know, like every single time people want to have a protest now, like these pro Palestine protesters come up and they fucking hijack it. It doesn't matter what you're trying to protest. Like they show up and they're like, "Oh yo, free Palestine." Like you can't protest for anything without those dudes coming and like making it about Palestine. Man, I really don't want to give up on this. And I don't think Hutch saves his lives either. So I'd be able to find it there. Let me see this. Let me try this. Let me check. Maybe he has a video about it.
It would probably.
Nope. So he he say his was? Oh. He does. Oh, I bet I can find it. No. It is not. Let's see. Okay, this one's LA, so then it's probably the next day. Because I remember I was watching, we were jumping around between the protests in New York, Chicago, and LA. Oh, is this it? Is this it? It's close to it, right? Oh, no, that's not quite it. But I think this is the right day. Oh, we're getting close, boys. I almost found it. See? Persistence pays off. All right, where is it? Oh, we're almost there. This is the right corner. I did say Chicago, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm just about there. Oh, yeah. I am just about there. I've found it. For you and Daniel, I think. Daniel is originally from Chicago, or for some reason he just supports Chicago teams. Based? I don't want that shit on my fucking soundboard, though. I do not want Gaza the Hutt on my soundboard. You mean the teams that lose everything? Listen, the Pope is a White Sox fan. Let him have this one, alright? What the hell? Bring me solo and the hummus wachapukima. Okay, what the fuck? I finally found it, and now YouTube is like, oh, I'm gonna be annoying. Fine, Brave browser. If you're gonna be like that, I'll fucking load it in Firefox. Useless. What's a Druze? Oh no, what's a Druze, right? You remember that? She's like, what's a Druze? What's a Druze? And then they find out she looked it up, and then she goes, ah, Druze. Bro. She's so cringe, dude. Why is she so fucking cringe? Alright, here we go. Now it's working. Okay. Okay, here we go, guys. Okay, you get to share in this cringe now. Alright, let's find it.
I would jump just to that situation.
It's this girl, too. She's the one. With the fucking keffiyeh and what, like the Hamas shit? This Hamas fucking headband? Bro.
Times like these, there's a fine line. I think that's all. Of course, I don't win arguing.
Let's
with
find
chat,
it.
but I feel like I do something that I think maybe he.
She starts like standing up and chanting shit.
Reverse. It kind of speaks people when military label one side.
Protest is against Mexico?
Universally is there for a righteous cause and there for the right reasons. And that
This girl, keep an eye on this girl right here.
And then everybody are so many race symmetry thing. Well, there some universal would help a lot. This
come on.
no, if they would
Mexican deportation. I believe it's pronounced retard.
horses.
Oh, yep. Okay, there she goes. Here we go. Here we go.
Horses or shot Australian news anchors. Well, not as far as I'm aware. I don't know.
This is like, remember, guys, remember through all of this. This is a protest against ICE deportation of illegal immigrants, mostly from Mexico and Central America, right? This is why people are protesting. Now, first of all, look at what this girl is fucking wearing. And she's playing it off as though she's there for Mexico because I think she's wearing, I can't quite tell what country it is, but it looks really close to the Mexican soccer jersey to me. So that could be her little excuse, right? But she's covered her face with a fucking keffiyeh, okay? And like a Hamas headband. She's got her mouth and everything covered, right? And then, of course, the nerd glasses. Now, let's listen in. If only Iran had Frogan, the missiles would have been a quick snack. So you mean she would have picked them up at the Allahu snack bar? I'm typing on my keyboard, which I such on when I usually am in Tiny's chat. I type on my phone. Ugh, Daniel. I feel mean if he's at a disadvantage. You can take that one if you want. But I'm going to let it slide. You can take that one if you want. Now, yes, keep in mind, guys, this is a protest against ICE and deportations of illegals and what Trump has been doing, right? That's the whole purpose of this. Let us watch.
Downtown Los Angeles. I'd have to check the statute on that.
I know if they're all the same.
Like, this crowd is...
You hear that? So the chant they were doing before was NYPD, KKK, IOF, they're all the same. I don't know if that's the chant she's doing right now. Maybe it is. That's the one that I've heard a lot. Notice what's missing. Notice a certain agency that's missing from that list. Right? Do you guys have any idea what agency that might be? You guys know? From the agencies she listed. And I don't know. She might be saying it in this one. I'm not hearing it. But, yeah. Yeah. ICE is not in that list. Now, I don't know if this is one that she does do the ICE, because I'm going to have egg on my face if it was. But I definitely know I heard that exact chant many, many times, right? They didn't even include ICE there, bro. It always has to be about fucking Palestine. Always.
They're tying these police officers to IDF. Like, what the fuck are we doing here?
IOF, my friend.
What do these police officers have to do with IDF?
Give us the sound, bro. We want to listen.
Tell me what you're fighting for. Antifada People's War.
Okay, there you go.
Intifada People's War. Bro, we're just beginning the cringe, bro. Just wait. Just wait until she pops out with the fucking Arabic. Just fucking wait, dog. Just wait and listen to the crowd. Listen to the crowd. Like, chant with her through some of it. And then when they hit the Arabic, suddenly they go, oh shit, well, I'm not so sure about that.
Well,
Intifada, Intifada. Long live the Intifada.
Bro. Fuck off. Like, fuck right off.
Intifada, Intifada.
hold up. Is that a Hezbollah flag? Is she wearing a Hezbollah flag?
It's
I'm pretty
Hezbollah.
sure that's
Yeah,
a
that's what
Hezbollah.
it is. Right? I think so. No. No, it's not. It's the green one. Yeah, it's not Hezbollah, bro. It's Hamas. That's what I thought. That's what I said earlier. She's got a fucking Hamas headband. That's what I fucking said. Oh my god, dude. This girl is cooked. Cooked in the brain. Holy shit. Oh. She's a citizen, right? Can we deport her instead? Holy fuck. One of the most honest mask-off admissions I heard from a leftist why they hate police is that police stand in the way of a proletariat uprising. Exactly. They're full of shit, dude. They don't actually care. They don't care. They don't care about you. Okay? They're radical leftists. So radical.
Mexico to Gaza.
Hold on.
Mobilize the Intifada.
Mexico to Gaza. Bro, this ain't about Gazans, my dog. This is not about Gazans, bruh. Get the fuck over yourself. Not everything has to be about Gaza. This is so crazy.
Mobilize the Intifada.
Okay, now you've lost me, right? Now you've lost me.
Me too, Hutch.
From Palestine to Mexico. All these walls have got to go.
From Palestine to Mexico, all these walls have got to go. You know, if only they'd had a better wall between Gaza and Israel on October 7th, 2023. If only they'd had a better wall. They still would have flown over in their little fucking things, right? But at least less of them would have gotten through.
From Palestine to Mexico. All these walls have got to go. 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 Ale, 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 ale.
Oh, there it is! Oh, bro! That's so amazing, dude. That's so amazing, bro. That's so perfect. Did y'all just hear that? Or was I too quick on the draw there? Y'all saw that, right? Holy shit. Ale, 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 some bullshit in fucking Arabic, and the rest of them are like, oh, I don't know. Hang on, I don't know about that. Yeah, we're one away. I feel so tired. One away. One away. Just one. Bro, did you all hear? Wait, come on. Tell me y'all heard that. I bring it back again because that shit was crazy. That was so funny, dog. So funny.
All these walls have got to go. Ale, 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 ale. Ale.
Oh my god, dude. The crowd suddenly's like, wait, what did she just say? And once again, guys, let me remind you, don't forget, guys, don't forget. This is supposed to be a protest against ICE. Don't forget. That's why they're here. protesting against ICE. And suddenly we have this fucking chick in the fucking keffiyeh and the fucking Hamas headband screaming some shit in Arabic that nobody knows what the fuck she's saying. She could be saying death to the fucking Jews for all we know. Well, I didn't hear Yehud, right? But still, like, oh my god, bro. Y'all are so cringe. So fucking cringe. Oh. Alright, one more time. We need that one more time. And then we can enjoy Hutch's reaction. Because Hutch had the same reaction that I did. I was watching his stream live for this. It was fun. We were having a lot of fun in chat. Goofing on these retards.
Come on. That was funny. Come on. You're like, what the fuck did she just say? Hold on.
All these walls have got to go! All these walls have got to go!
Did we go too far back?
Have got to go!
They're like, okay.
Oh, absolutely I feel so tired, but they're not even thinking that far ahead, bro. Let's be honest here. They are absolutely, completely in the moment, entirely fueled by nothing more than emotional fervor. Like, they are propelled by, not by logical thought, but by anger and nothing else. So they're not even going to take the time to stop and, like, try to coalesce around a coherent, message. Which is why the other day, when we were arguing with them about this being a rebellion, I was like, you guys are out of your fucking mind if you think this is a rebellion. These people are too fucking stupid to organize shit well like that. Like, you see the kind of people who are out here. No fucking shot these people know what they're doing enough to organize like a well-intentioned specific message. Call a priest, she needs an exorcist. Like, there's no shot, dude. These people are all over the fucking place. You got people with the Mexican flags, all those people there to protest ICE, and then you got this idiot standing up on, I don't know what she's standing on, with a keffiyeh and the Hamas headband screaming in fucking Arabic. What? 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 I don't understand it, bro. Don't understand it.
If you can't appreciate the humor in that, that was genuinely funny.
Yeah, now she's like, uh-oh, I might have gone a little bit too far. Uh-oh. And so she stopped. They can't even make their dumb bed.
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
Make your damn bed. Make it. In the morning. She's getting hot.
Hey, listen, she brought the heat.
She's getting hot.
Respect the energy.
Now they're doing it. It's because it's not this fucking idiot. You see? Someone else in the crowd is like, okay, this stupid bitch only cares about Palestine. Let's actually focus it up against, against who we actually mean, okay? And by who we mean, we're going to say that the NYPD are fucking racists who lynch black people. Yeah, that might be a good idea. If only Palestine was free of dumbass supporters like this, maybe we would have peace. Yeah. Oh, sure. Make your damn bed. I can't do a good, because I can't do a good Peterson impression. I need to work on that one. That's the thing is if I'm gonna, own that moniker, I really need to work on my impression. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! She's getting back up! She's like, no, no, no. No, no, no. No, no. How dare you start chanting without talking about Israel and Gaza? How fucking dare you? I'm gonna take this back. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Is she gonna do it? Is she gonna do it?
Well, I feel like that's just...
Or is she just standing up to clap?
ICE, KKK, and NYPD. Jersey, thank you so much, buddy.
Yeah, she's like, okay, maybe I should stick on message now. She got the picture. Work on Kermit. Kermit. Okay, yeah, I gotta work on Kermit. I have done okay Kermits in the past, but I don't know if I feel confident enough in it to like jump into it right now on stream. I have to practice it.
So this is just a totally different crowd than... Oh, wait, is it a different crowd? I don't even know. This is Atlanta.
Oh, yeah, there were some Palestinian flags. Bro, I'm so tired of it. Like, you guys make a lot of us not want to protest. The pro-Palestinian people, like... They make us not want to protest because we know they're going to show up and we don't want to be fucking seen with those fucking mental invalids. Bro, it's ridiculous. We don't want to be associated with those people. Here's John Oliver, just section of the human microphone. We're going to have to save that for later, Cosmic. That's definitely going to piss off YouTube if I play that. They make me want to volunteer as an agent provocateur. Atlanta, this ain't so bad. I know, Daniel, it sucks, because I don't want to, bro. Like, not fuck ICE, because, like, I'm not there. But, like, what they're doing right now is over the top. They don't need to do it. Wait a minute. Oh, never mind. At a passing glance, I thought that was an old Rams logo. I thought I had a brother there, but nope. Tu madre es una puta. Wait. What did they say? Trump escucha, tu madre es una puta. That's so good. I love it. That's a great chant. That's a good one. That hits. See, this is a crowd I can get behind. This is a crowd I like. Trump escucha, tu madre es una puta. Amazing.
Amazing.
That's good. I like that one. I was in the pool. I should prioritize deporting people like Hassan. Keep all the nice Hispanic people. Exactly. Or that chick who was screaming in Arabic for some reason at an ICE protest. But that's a good chant. I like this chant. That's a great chant. Trump escucha, tu madre es una puta. I like that. I love that one. I'm keeping that one. Keeping that one in the tank for later. Okay?
Trump, escucha, tu madre es una puta. He said, Trump, listen, your mom is a bitch.
Anyway, yeah, I wanted to show you guys that unhinged New York protest and how it got completely hijacked by the pro-pallies. What a fucking yoke. What a fucking yoke. People like Trump also can't trust red state courts to prosecute criminals, whether they're immigrants or not. Only people like Trump also can't trust red state courts to prosecute criminals, whether they're immigrants or not. Well, I guess they kind of have to now, right? Supreme Court said they have to. Also, you might want to change your name to not Nuclear Hassan's Giant Cock, given the recent Mossad action. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
It's not my name, you dumb faggot shithead.
That's not the one I was looking for. I was looking for the song. That was inappropriate. It was pretty fucking funny, though. Oh. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is it, right? Yeah, that's not the one I wanted, though. I wanted the more forceful one. That it? Are you fucking me off? Yeah, it's not the part. Well, that was a fail. True. What about using a raffle where the prize is getting deported? Oh, that's fun. That'd be fun. Oh, so on the Israel stuff, tell me if you guys feel this on the Israel-Iran stuff. Tell me if you guys are feeling this. So everybody's freaking out about World War III. I think it's completely retarded. No one's going to World War III over Iran and Israel trying to, like, fuck with each other, right? Like, that's not fucking happening. And all their potential nukes just got blown to high hell, right? So nuclear war isn't happening. But, like, all of these people are like, yeah, it's World War III. Oh, World War III is happening right now. It's World War III. It's World War III. World War III. I'm starting to get the feeling that these people want it to be World War III. Are you guys getting that feeling too? Or is it just me? Do you feel like people's lives are so devoid of, like, meaning that they're sitting there going like, oh, wouldn't it be so cool if World War III happened? All these people, like, online who are like, yup, welcome to World War III. Oh, it's happening right now. It's already happening. It's World War III. It feels like they want it to be World War III. Is it just me, or do you guys get that feeling too? Like when I go on fucking Threads or X or whatever. Yeah, I know, Nuclear, but, like, stick with me here. Like, are you guys feeling this too? Are you getting this feeling as well? Like, the way people are talking about the World War III, it almost feels like they're like, man, wouldn't it be exciting if it World War III? Like, what the fuck? Yeah. I don't understand, bro. Like, I don't understand where people, like, how are people so fucking twisted? I don't think they understand what nihilism is, a lot of these people. I feel so tired. I don't even think they know what the meaning of the word is. I think their lives are so boring. They've been so consumed by world events and these like twisted ideas of what they think is right and wrong and all of this shit that they're like, yo, we deserve World War III. I hope it's World War III. Like, bro, fuck yourself. Like, fuck yourself, bro. Or like George Carlin said, bro, you want nuclear war? Let's give you a nuclear suppository, dog. How about that? You have to understand what nihilism is to be a nihilist. That's the fun part. I guess that's true. But I don't think the thoughts are that deep. I feel so tired. I think they're more surface level. I think they're so angry about everything. They're like, oh, fucking wipe it all away. It'll be better then. I think that's where they are. Not nihilism, accelerationism. But like the worst kind of accelerationism. No. Link me. Link me. Give me that link, you bumbaclot. Let's see. He dead. He dead now. Ooh, he's super dead. Oh, I love that, bro. Like, I saw people on Threads posting, like, that fucking salami dude who was, like, the head of the IRGC being like, oh, like, I'm talking, like, hours before the Israeli strikes going like, Israel better not hit us or we will retaliate so much harder. They'll never know what hit them. And then it's like, my guy, this did not age well. You're dead as fuck now. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. Oh, dude. This is it. Bro, Saudis are going to be celebrating. Oh, what's this? What do we got? What do we got? Oh. Let's try this again. Nope. It's not working. My salami has a first name. It's... Never mind, he's dead. Link's not working for some reason. Let's try... Oh, there it goes. In view of the martyrdom of Lieutenant General Mohammed Hossein Bagheri, the hands of the evil Zionist regime, and in light of Major General Saeed Abdulrahim Musavi's meritorious services and valuable experience, I appoint him as Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces. Cosmic, I think what happened to Hezbollah exposed them. And I was saying this back when Hezbollah got fucked to death. I was saying this back then. I was saying, bro, Iran is shaking in their boots right now. They did not expect this to happen. They did not expect Israel to just come in like a bunch of fucking cowboys, round them all up, and kill them like that, and do it so easily. Iran underestimated. They bullshitted themselves into believing they actually had a chance against a country that is funded and buys weapons from the most advanced military country on the face of the planet by like 10 to 20 years, okay? I don't know what they were thinking. They were like, ooh, we built a little drone. Oh, we made a shitty stealth fighter. Oh, yes, we can hold on to Israel. Nah, bro. Nah, bro. You fucked around and you found out. And that's why since the shit with Hezbollah, their responses have been these dinky little missile shots, right? And they've been really fucking quiet because they knew. They knew they weren't prepared for this. They knew. Guard Corps stands ready. Pepto-Bismillah. Pepto-Bismillah. If you get hit by a car, have you been martyred? Dal-Qaeda engaged. I love Dal-Qaeda, dude. I love Dal-Qaeda. Taliban assemble. We need that. We need somebody to edit like Captain America going, Taliban assemble at the end in Endgame. Someone's got to edit that shit. The entire Middle East is actually crypto-Zionists. Wir rise! Ja! Jawohl! We will rise and fight for the Al-Qaeda. Let's see if there's any other good shit on the subreddit real quick. Before we move on onto Factorio and yelling at Anna Kasparian. Al-Qassam Brigade's website manager POV. Oh, yeah. Based Mexican, more American than the Americans.
That flag. I don't care. I'm Mexican. My family's no immigrant. You're not burning that flag. You're not burning that flag. You're not burning that flag. You're not burning that fucking flag.
Oh my God. And it had to be a fucking little shit piece of scum on the bottom of my shoe wrapped in a fucking Palestinian flag. Are you kidding me? You're here to protest ICE. A fucking immigrant, okay? Says, don't burn that flag. My parents came here to give me a better life. I'm glad that I'm here. Don't burn that flag. And this motherfucker who thinks everybody who isn't, anybody who's to the right of fucking Marx himself is a goddamn fascist is like, no, I'm a burn the flag. I'm a burn the flag. Yeah, fuck you. Good for him, bro. Good for him, bro. Beat him up in a video game.
We don't.
Kick his ass in Minecraft. Wait, what the fuck? That's so dumb. I do not agree with that being auto-modded. They were martyred while hiding in a tunnel. Bismillah.
Condone burning the American flag at all.
Based protesters.
And we're fucking Mexican, dog. We don't.
Yeah, dude, these need to be the protesters, not that fucking bitch in the fucking keffiyeh in the Hamas headband. Fuck her. Burn her in a video game instead. Okay, I'm getting a little too hyped up. Okay, that one just came out. I didn't mean it, lady. I'm sorry. Okay. That's funny. Hell yeah. This is gonna be wild, bro. There's like people saying there could be terrorist attacks. Bro, I would not be surprised if some pro-Palestine person or some fucking tanky does some crazy shit on their own. Interesting how immigrants are better than some of the citizens. No, it's not interesting. We know the crime stats. That's not surprising at all. Ah, I saw this. This was great. Talking to a coworker today about making an API using skim data from websites, and I was like, fuck that, would have been perfect for Loner Box's autistic ass going through the brigade's website for like 10 hours straight. You can figure out how to skim data from websites, not get my IP nuked. Yeah, I mean, you could always hide it behind a VPN, right? How would you deploy it? You could containerize that motherfucker. Containerize the motherfucker. Almog, welcome, buddy. How are you doing over there? How are you doing over there, man? How is everything? I mean, are the sirens like just nonstop right now? Guys, we have an Israeli in the shit in chat. Almog, we're here for you, brother. My basic SQL and my database knowledge stops there. Rip. Once per few hours, they shot. I've been trying to find like a count of how many missiles actually got through. Do you know? Because I've heard like only a couple, but not like a specific number. I said, do you know like how many missiles have actually gotten through? Because I can't find a specific number, and I just was like wondering. Sleeping between attacks. Okay. I've heard there's at least one death of an Israeli woman. And quite a few injuries. Yeah. Yeah. Iran got exposed big time. Big time, brother. We're here in solidarity with you, my friend. But we're glad. We're glad that this happened. This was the right thing for you guys to do. So thank you. From the rest of the civilized world to you in Israel, thank you. Because this needed to be done. Oh, this is great. Of course, Brazil. Of course. Alright. Enough of that. Let's yell at Anna Kasparian for a little while. Alright, brother. Thanks for stopping by and checking in. Stay safe, my friend. We're all thinking about you. We're all thinking of Israel tonight, man. You guys are the real MVPs. You're doing the work that nobody else had the balls to do. Oh, one last thing I wanted to say. Judge ruled Trump's National Guard federalization was illegal. An appeals court granted an administrative stay while they review the case. So we'll see how that goes. My guess is they will uphold that order, but obviously we don't know until the fat lady sings. But this seems like a pretty clearly illegal use of the National Guard. So I'm assuming that's going to happen there. Based on that conversation we had last time, where they argued with me that somehow this could be a rebellion, and then, told me that, okay, well, you don't have the info that it's not a rebellion. And I was like, that's correct, but I'm going to assume that unless they prove otherwise. And the fact that they didn't seem to have presented any evidence saying as such in this case so far to stop the judge's ruling seems to be that way. All right. Okay. All right, Anna. Fucking rude person. Why doesn't he just arrest the judge? I'm sure he would like to. I don't think so, Cosmic. They still haven't, what is the difference between what happened? I mean, it was a riot, civil unrest. I still haven't seen any evidence of it being a rebellion. I don't see any coordinated efforts to impede the work of law enforcement. I don't see LAPD or any of these officers being unable to handle it. I just don't see it qualifying as a rebellion, but maybe you've seen something that I haven't. But they did end up carrying out their duties, didn't they? Or did they not? Was that successful? Attacking of ICE vehicles isn't necessarily, I would not say, qualifies as a rebellion necessarily. I think in that case, I think that would fall more under the definition of an insurrection or an insurrectionist act, perhaps. Right, but the Whiskey Rebellion was specifically coordinated to do that. And it was like a widespread coordination. Like this, what's going on here seems very spur of the moment. I mean, these people aren't organized. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see as shit comes out. All right. Let's watch this idiot. No, I'm not talking about the numbers. Like, for example, the coordination on January 6th was like very widespread, right? And that is still considered insurrection and not a rebellion. All right, let's watch this shit.
Iran's nuclear program is once again heating up tensions in the Middle East. 5 rounds of talks between Tehran and Washington have failed to calm the nerves. Ahead of round 6, there are reports that Israel isn't going to hold fire any longer. Are we closer than ever to a full-scale regional war? Stay with us for the debate on Counterpoints with me, Melinda Nusafora.
Yes, but like the main thing that they were able to push on it as like an insurrection was that it impeded the process of the government function, right? That's the thing that we talk about. What's up, Josh?
Yo, I don't have much time, but I needed to join to talk about the fuck just happened.
Yeah! Let's go!
Dude, crazy.
Amazing.
Crazy.
Amazing and crazy.
I think it's bigger and crazier than the beeper operation, and as of now, even more successful.
We just had
well, not more successful in terms of that.
We just had a chatter friend of ours from Israel jump in chat, say what's up. Siren's been going off every once in a while, but we all gave him our big thanks, saying, "Hey,
your family are all like
I'm saying,
in shelter."
Yeah, but I was telling him, you know, you guys, you're doing the work no one else had the balls to do. Like, thank you, man. Like, we all appreciate you guys.
Yeah. Happy Pride, everyone.
Yep. Happy Pride.
You know, they had to cancel the Pride Parade for this, but I think a lot of my friends are like, you know what? Next year in Tehran.
Also, you missed earlier. We were making fun of and laughing at Palestine protesters who were like trying to hijack the ICE protests.
Oh yeah, my timing is short, so I can't get into that stuff as much.
Why do you
but
always
I will
do
say,
this to me? Why do you always do this?
I've got like people coming over, man. I got like a movie, but like I'm driving right now for 5 minutes, and I just wanted to jump on at least to be like, holy fuck.
Daniel just jumped on. What's up, Daniel?
I was just listening.
Oh.
Yeah, the you guys talked about the amount of planning that went into these strikes for years, and the way not only did they like set up this drone base inside Iran to take out, you know, their air defenses and the things they were going to use to retaliate immediately, but it's like a series of things had to happen to make this even possible. Like Hezbollah would have joined the war with all their missiles, but Israel, you know, took them out. Syria would have joined Assad, and they wouldn't have let them use their airspace, except Syria fell.
And
you
Russia.
know, and Russia is caught up in Ukraine, so they can't do shit. It's just
the nuclear watchdog making that announcement the other day.
Yes. Well, that was probably a big, you know, green light there in the sense that, you know, you can't deny that
this
they
is
were
the time
enriching
where we can
it beyond what was. They were enriching it beyond what you would need for civilian purposes, which is against their agreements. So there's so many things that just made this. Actually, I heard they wanted to do this even earlier, but Trump wanted to do like negotiations. He said, "Give me 60 days," and this is day 61. So, but it feels like almost like a diversion
because
tactic
because they've watched Trump say, "I'm going to put this many days on it," because he doesn't know how long this shit takes, and inevitably it gets to the 60 days and he hasn't worked out a deal, so he wants to, I just want to extend it again, and Israel was like, no, fuck you, we're not playing by your time anymore.
I don't think that's what happened. Look, I don't think that's what happened, honestly, and I have a lot, you know how much I hate Trump, I hate him, but like I think this was actually quite coordinated. He knew what was going to happen. He gave that number for a reason, because he knew that at the end of it, if there was no good deal, that he was giving the green light to Israel to attack. And so I think this was a little bit more, I don't know, this was a little more, they were involved in this, and I guess some credit where it's due to Trump side of things.
I'll give him a little credit on this one. He's on the
I
right
think foreign
side in
policy
this
wise with
one.
this kind of stuff, he's always been pretty okay with when it came to
Yeah.
like the Abraham Accords and everything.
Yeah.
So I think it's hard for people to wrap their heads around as he's doing horrible shit over here with ICE and everything. But
Right.
this is in terms of that stuff, it's absolutely incredible. Like they've been shown to kind of be, the term paper tiger. Like Iran is just
Yes, of course.
flimsy, like they're just a flimsy now.
Bro, they're a paper fucking dildo. Okay.
Yeah. The people are, I think no one's happier than the people of Iran right now. And also,
Yes,
just for the
but
record,
this is the time. This is the time.
but-
Please, people of Iran, please, this is your chance. Take it.
They should, but also Israel, you should see, people should see the difference. Israel has been extremely targeted in their attacks
Very
of
precise.
the military personnel. By
But
the
you
way,
know what they're
they
going to
got-
say, right? You know what they're going to say? They're going to say, well, what are you doing in Gaza? Why you do right? Well,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
I said that wrong. I said that wrong. Sorry. They're gonna say, why haven't you done it in Gaza?
Well, hold on, because I have to go in a minute. They actually set up a meeting, apparently. Like, there was a meeting for the top Air Force military or whatever, like the entire Air Force leadership in Iran. It was a fake meeting. And it brought them all into one place, and Israel took them all out.
Oh!
They've been doing crazy shit like that. All of their military leadership has been decimated. They're replacing them, but the people who are in charge of firing retaliatory strikes have been killed. The launchers that they use have mostly been wiped out or they're not able to use them. They've been, like, right now they fired 100 drones, which Israel and its allies took out, and then they fired 200 ballistic missiles, which, by the way, well, they
There's
fired
at least
200.
one dead person.
Yeah, so the drones took 7 to 8 hours to get to Israel, which is funny because Israelis are just like, oh, we still got 6 hours to party.
And the only
Right.
dead person is a civilian, by the way. There's no.
Well, I was gonna say then the ballistic missiles take 10 minutes to get to Israel, and those are much harder to shoot down. And they sent 200 of them, which is the biggest ballistic missile attack in history. They knew that was going to happen likely, but what's amazing is they stopped most of them. They missed some, and yes, I think they injured 40 and killed one woman right now.
Yeah.
They also injured a family of like 5 Palestinian kids.
Oh my! Why do they always do that? Every fucking time they shoot missiles at Israel, it's Palestinians who end up getting hurt.
The conspiracy is that the Iron Dome leaves some room open for the Palestinian areas.
Yeah,
to
of
make
course,
it look,
because you can't actually God, it's all bullshit. It's all.
but
That's so
what's
funny.
important to point out is they did a massive ballistic missile strike on civilian like all over Israel. Civilian populations in the center of Israel. Israel did a targeted military strike on Iran, which goes to show what they would do if they had a nuke. They would just wipe out Israel, like they've said. Iran has a doomsday clock in a square called Palestine Square.
Oh, we looked at this.
In Tehran.
You saw the power went out, right?
To the destruction. Yeah, the power went out to it. The coming to Israel's destruction.
Daniel?
It's so fucking insane.
Daniel? What were you going to say,
Yep,
Daniel?
I'm here. Oh, nothing. I was just saying, yeah, it lost power.
Yeah.
Womp,
womp.
So this was impressive. I'm hoping Iran is such a purveyor of like horrible propaganda that I'm hoping that some of the shit that they've been doing is gonna because a lot of it's coming from them. I'm hoping that it'll break through.
We're about to watch Anna Kasparian go be a fucking shill for Iran for a bit.
She's such a fucking idiot.
But I think is going to push a lot of people. I think this is going to push a lot of people who were on board with their Gaza rhetoric. It's going to push a lot of those people away because people know a lot more about how fucked Iran is.
I think there was
so many people don't.
I think a lot more do. There are people. There's definitely.
Hold on, I'll be right back.
Okay.
What I've learned, Jordan, is that people who are so anti-Israel in terms of what's going on in Gaza and everything, have zero idea of the context of what's happening in the Middle East with Iran and what they control in Lebanon and Syria and Iraq. I think that this is it's waking them up a little bit, but I think they're just very confused. Like, why is Israel attacking Iran like this? What are they doing? Someone explain it. I'm seeing all these, like, explain it to me like I'm 5. It's like you had all these strong opinions and you don't know why.
Yeah, explain it to me like I'm 5. I'm like, no, you're a retard. Research it yourself, you fucking moron.
Yeah. It's like Israel, is Israel trying to colonize Iran? You know, Iran is 75 times larger. Iran is 75 times larger.
Israel right now is doing one of the best things that anybody has ever done for Iran. For Iran!
Yeah, but it's also, by the way, it's the 3rd time that they've taken out nuclear reactors. They took them out in the 80s in Iraq, with Iran's help, if I recall. And then they took out Syria as well. And
Yep. Uh-oh. Our boy's cutting out.
Did you lose him?
We lost him.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Josh, you's gone.
Yeah, I think there was some multiple. I think there was multiple coordination from multiple nations. And the reason I say this is
Jordan was
that
helping.
It was also, I think Ukraine was helping as well, because it was also confirmed that the Iranian general in charge of the program that exported the Shaheeds to Russia was also eliminated.
Good.
So there may have been some sort of coordination or handshake behind closed doors as well, even with that.
Good. Fuck them. Fuck them. I ain't scared of no ghosts. Oh, we lost him. All right. On to this horse shit. Just for you, Nuclear, because I know you wanted to yell about it again. We're going to have some fun. Oh, it's a good day. That slaps at 1.5.
The US is moving its non-essential staff out of military bases and embassies in Iraq. But
the best part about this happened before the strikes. So if I recall, there are definitely things in here that age pretty poorly.
Bahrain and Kuwait, a sign it knows there's trouble brewing.
Well, they are being moved out because it could be a dangerous place, and we'll see what happens. But they are being, we've given notice to move out, and we'll see what happens.
Is there anything that could be done to dial the temperature down in the region?
They can't have a nuclear weapon. Very simple.
The US has been urging restraint from Israel during months of nuclear negotiations with Iran, but it seems Tel Aviv has run out of patience. There are reports it's ready to defy its #1 ally and launch a military operation against Iran. If it does, it's feared all bets are off. The tinderbox could explode. US-Iran nuclear talks have stalled over Tehran's enrichment program.
Buddy.
It insists it's for civilian energy purposes and not weapons production. But for the first time in 20 years, the International Atomic Energy Agency has found Iran is not complying with its nuclear obligations. On this episode of Counterpoints, we'll debate if the region is closer than ever before to a broader war. Is Israel trying to drag the US into another conflict? And why shouldn't Iran be able to have nuclear weapons? To discuss rising tensions between Iran and Israel, the prospect of an all-out war and the upcoming nuclear talks, I'm joined by Anna Kasmarian, journalist and host of The Young Turks, an independent American news outlet. Jasmine Al-Jamal is also joining us, a former Middle East advisor at the Pentagon, and Elon Levy, rounding out our panel, a former Israeli government spokesman. Thank you all for joining us here on Counterpoints. Tensions are on the rise again across the Middle East, and one small miscalculation risks plunging the whole region into chaos. There are various reports suggesting Israel is ready to strike Iran, and Iran has fired back and said it would respond forcefully if that was to happen. US President Donald Trump has also said something big could happen soon, and he's weighing his options of support, not to lead any Israeli strikes, but to perhaps assist in things including refueling. So, Elon, let's start with you. Why do you think Israel is preparing to strike Iran at this point in time, when talks are about to take place? Why now?
Well, nobody wants war with Iran because war is bad, but nobody can afford a nuclear Iran because a nuclear Iran is worse. Israel does not want a war with Iran. Right now, Israel is calling for urgent international action to stop the illegal Iranian nuclear weapons program. But Israel is, of course, preparing for the option that diplomacy will fail because the United States is demanding Iran cannot enrich uranium at all, block its path to a nuclear bomb. The Iranians are insisting on continuing to enrich uranium. They've already made enough for 10 nuclear bombs. So Israel is preparing for the possibility that talks may collapse and military option may be the last resort. And Israel has twice in history saved the world from authoritarian regimes on the cusp of nuclear weapons. 1981, it took out Saddam Hussein's nuclear reactor. 2007, it took out Bashar al-Assad's nuclear reactor. And I think the whole world is grateful now that Saddam Hussein and Bashar al-Assad do not have nuclear weapons.
Anna, let me ask you, I could see you smiling there as Elon was talking. Do you think that the prospect of a conflict with Iran is less concerning than a nuclear Iran?
Well, first, I would like to ask whether you have any interest at all in fact-checking what your guest just said with a bald-faced lie about how Iran currently has enough enriched uranium to build 10 nuclear bombs. That is a lie. Literally no evidence of that.
Short technical help from
because I wanted to interrupt you and I didn't. I wanted to interrupt you and I didn't, even though you were lying.
Well, you just accused me of lying.
Your dishonest claims, which are only meant to drag the United States into another war in a Middle Eastern country on your behalf. Israel needs to fight its own wars. But Israel knows that it cannot fight against Iran. They want to do this strike. They want to do military operations in Iran in the middle of peace negotiations, diplomatic talks between the United States and Iran. Why do you think they want to do that? Iran had stopped enriching uranium. They stopped their nuclear program as a result of the Iran nuclear deal that was signed in 2015. Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel's prime minister, was not happy with that deal because he wanted war with Iran. He wants regime change, and he wants the United States military to fight that war on behalf of Israel. It is unacceptable, and we're not falling for it again. You can go all the way back to 2012, and you can hear speeches featuring Netanyahu claiming that Iran was days away from developing a nuclear weapon. It was always a lie. It was a lie then. It's a lie now, and it's absolutely disgusting that more lives are on the line thanks to the lies that are being spewed by propagandists like Elon on outlets like this. You're a liar. We're not going to go to war on your behalf. Sorry. Move on.
All right, I'm going to bring in Jasmine in just a moment, but I'm going to let Elon respond to that before we bring Jasmine in.
Because your guest just accused me of being a liar, so I think I have a right.
You are a liar.
Well, indeed. And just a moment, Anna. So that's Elon why I'm letting you respond.
Iran is now 1 week breakout time from getting nuclear weapons. This isn't me saying it's not
Netanyahu.
It's the IAEA that says Iran already has enough 60% highly enriched uranium for 10 nuclear weapons. It's a short technical halt for 90%. There is no civilian purpose at all for having 60% highly enriched uranium. The only possible reason to have that enriched uranium is to build a nuclear weapon, and a nuclear weapon would be a threat not just for Israel, but for the whole Middle East, and yes, for the United States as well.
Okay, I'm going to bring in...
The fact that Mossad has been traversing Europe and meeting with IAEA partners has nothing to do with their proclamation that Iran is such a big nuclear threat. But you want to know what I find to be a nuclear threat, actually?
Not really.
The country that's currently committing genocide in the Middle East, and that's Israel. You want to talk about their
here we go.
Okay, pause that for a moment. We're going to come to that in a moment. And I want to bring in Jasmine here. What's your take on this?
They have to make everything about Palestine. Everything has to be about Palestine.
Do you think Iran does pose a serious threat? I mean, you've had a close working relationship with the Pentagon. Do you think that we are on the cusp now and that perhaps a war between these two powers is inevitable?
Well, look, no war is inevitable. Let me just start with that. I worked in the Obama administration, and I was in the Obama administration at the Pentagon when Obama negotiated the JCPOA, the Iran nuclear deal. And certainly the deal has had its critics, and it did fall short in some areas. It didn't address Iran's malign influence in the region. It didn't address Iran's support for organizations like Hezbollah and Hamas and so on. But it did actually make some progress in getting these, all European countries, getting a consensus, getting a diplomatic solution to what everyone agreed was a risk and a problem. And so what I want to just bring here, I want us to just look at the strategic picture in the region, because I think what everyone agrees on this panel is that no one wants war. What we're disagreeing on, I imagine, is whether striking Iran is going to prevent a war or is going to bring us even closer to an all-out regional war. Because Melinda, you said at the beginning of the program that we're one miscalculation away, and we have been for almost 2 years now, and in the past many times, one miscalculation away from war. Now, if you look at the broader strategic picture in the region, as Anna just mentioned, there is what by far a wall-to-wall consensus of genocide experts who are saying that what is happening in Gaza is a genocide.
That is not true.
Elon,
we'll come to that in a moment, Elon.
I'm not even going to go into my opinion here, but let me just finish because I did let you guys both talk for quite a bit without interrupting. So the regional picture is that Israel is mired in Gaza in what international human rights experts are agreeing is a genocide now. It has huge troubles at home. You've had Israelis protesting for almost 2 years now. And before that, let's remember, against Prime Minister Netanyahu's overreach and his attempts to meddle with the judiciary. So Israel is already isolated. It's already under pressure, and it can ill afford to be dragged into another war. But more important than that, for the first time in as long long as I can remember, or as long as I've even been alive, Israel is surrounded by countries, states that want to work with it to work towards a better future for the Middle East. For the first time, you have a government in Lebanon that is against Hezbollah and that is trying to do its part, according to the ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon, to make sure that Hezbollah's weapons in the south are brought in under the control of the state. You have a government in Syria that also, for the first time in decades, is saying loud and clear again and again, we don't want war with Israel. We want a peaceful region. We want to have talks with the Israelis, and indeed, some of those talks are ongoing. You have Egypt and Jordan and UAE and Bahrain who are actually in peace treaties with Israel and want to help move it forward to a place of peace and security. Now, the only person in this picture that I'm painting that continues to insist on using war and violent force and unilateral cross-border attacks in sovereign countries is Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. And he is placing the entire region at risk because of his unwillingness to engage in diplomatic talks with people who are willing across the board to do so. So I just wanted to paint that broad strategic picture of what the region looks like right now and why choosing to reject diplomacy at this point, when so many opportunities are available for it, is putting not just Israelis and people in the region at danger, but as Anna said, US lives as well. And that's not acceptable.
Okay, Elon, I want you to respond particularly to the comments that Jasmine's made about the fact that is this a deflection tactic from Prime Minister Netanyahu, and your reaction to the fact that this is a time where perhaps Israel is surrounded by neighbours, some neighbours who do want to work with it. Why not exploit that positive aspect?
That positive dynamic of neighbors who want to work with Israel is thanks to Israel decapitating Hezbollah in Lebanon, paving the way for the fall of the Assad regime, for the first time allowing Lebanese and Syrian people to take back control of their country. And we desperately hope that they choose to make peace with Israel, because wars should end with peace, not a piece of paper. Israel's problem.
But Elon, I'm sorry, but you keep attacking them as they're trying to help you do that. You attack
Israel
Lebanon,
is still surrounded.
You attack Syria,
Israel
so
is
you're not
still
even giving them the
surrounded
chance.
Oh, you're an idiot. You're just being bad faith, right? You know the difference between Lebanon and Hezbollah, right? Or are you that stupid?
Countries and militias that do not accept that Israel has a right to exist at all. The positive voices that we have been hearing from Lebanon and Syria, very cautious, none of them have said outright they're willing to recognize the state of Israel, are positive. But you know what would undermine any movement towards regional peace in the Middle East? A nuclear Iran. Because if Tehran is able to build nuclear weapons, it will be able to bully the region, to rebuild Hezbollah, to reestablish an influence in Syria, to embolden the Houthi pirates in Yemen who have been firing ballistic missiles at Israel every single day. And smaller countries like Bahrain, like the UAE, instead of being able to move towards greater peace and integration, are going to be looking over their shoulder at the nuclear bully in Tehran. And that is why a nuclear Iran is a threat to Middle East peace. And if we want to see a future of regional integration, like I do, of peace with Lebanon and Syria, they have to be freed once and for all from the clutches of the Iranian regime. And if Iran gets nuclear weapons, it will keep them under its claws.
Anna, let me ask you then, off the back of what Elon has said.
100%
I mean,
no.
yes, there are some countries that are...
What? What'd you say?
They 100. Oh, I was saying they 100% know the difference. To call them stupid would be giving them too much charity.
Oh yeah. No, they're just bad faith. They're full of shit. They're propagandists. Why'd I have a debate between Bibi and the One Piece Houthi? Because the One Piece Houthi is just a kid. He doesn't know shit.
Now more perhaps amenable in some sense to Israel, but is that not because Israel has shown force? Tehran has promised in the past to wipe Israel off the map. So isn't it understandable that Israel wants to take those security concerns seriously?
Israel wants regime change in Iran, and they want to maybe consider expanding
Everybody
in my opinion,
wants regime
outside
change in
of
Iran.
just annexing or taking over Gaza and the West Bank, which they've just announced that they're going to build 22 new illegal settlements.
Based on what? This is just wild speculation. You're just fucking making it up because, ooh, Israel bad. Fuck off, dude. You have no fucking clue. What an embarrassing, stupid thing to say.
In. They've annexed a portion of Syria, as we know. They've attempted to annex a portion of Lebanon. There's one aggressor in that region, and that aggressor is the country of Israel. I mean, there's endless evidence of it, and quite frankly, it makes me sick to my stomach to consistently hear the same.
No context. No surrounding information. It's just surface level interpretations.
Tired lies that we've heard over and over again from the mouths of people like Levy, who has absolutely no interest in peace in that region. They want to take over more land in that region. And I think it's pretty clear. It's abundantly clear.
Elon, you were nodding your head when Anna started those comments. Does Israel want regime change in Tehran? Are they unwilling to work with the current leaders and they want to...
Everybody wants regime change in Iran.
Israel wants peace with Iran. Israelis look back fondly at a time when there were flights between Tel Aviv and Tehran. But Iran is now controlled by a radical Islamist regime that leads crowds in chants of death to America and death to Israel. And the lesson we've learned from history is that when people say they're coming to kill us, we believe them. And when they're trying to get the weapons to commit an actual genocide, to wipe us off the map, you have to stop them. So Israel wants to see a future in which the brave Iranian people who are standing up for democracy, standing up for human rights, against the brutal oppressive regime, those people are able to govern their country. And the regime that is chanting death to America and death to Israel cannot bully the region, cannot fill it with proxy forces under the teeth with ballistic missiles anymore. So, you know, if the Iranian regime wants to change its stripes tomorrow and embrace peace with Israel, we're all for it. But since that's not going to happen, of course Israel would rather see a peaceful and democratic Iran than the theocratic regime that's currently in power, choosing to undermine and subvert Middle Eastern countries, filling them with proxy armies like Hamas, like Hezbollah, like the Houthis.
Jasmine, what do you think of those comments?
Look, I mean, I think that Elon is predicating his entire argument on an assumption that is unproven, which is the fact that A, Iran wants a nuclear weapon, B, wants to use it to wipe Israel off the map. I mean, I think that those words came from Ahmadinejad, who I don't know if anyone else here has seen him. I certainly haven't seen a peep out of him in a really long time. He's not in government the last time I checked, and he's not in charge of anything. So you're predicating your argument, in my opinion, on an assumption that is baseless. We don't have any reason to believe that what you're describing
to Israel. It's not a metaphor. They mean it.
The fact is, Elon, I just want to keep coming back to the fact and the point that none of us want...
Why do they keep calling him Elon? His name is not Elon, it's Elon.
War in the Middle East. The question is, how do we make sure that doesn't happen? Now, the issue is that the Trump administration came into office in January. We're now barely in June. So you're expecting negotiations over an issue that goes to the heart of Iran and the US and Israel, really complicated negotiations. You're not even giving them 6 months. You want to go in and just bomb your way out of this pickle.
I did not say that. I did not say that.
Just let Yasmin finish, Elon, and then we'll move on.
Israel wants
You're advocating for a military...
You're putting words in my mouth. You're putting words in my mouth. Israel wants diplomacy to succeed. It's preparing for the possibility that it might fail.
You want diplomacy to succeed, but you're not giving it a chance to succeed. And if you were giving it a chance to succeed, you wouldn't be rattling your saber every 5 minutes saying, we're going to strike, we're going to strike. The fact is that a strike, an Israeli strike against Iran, I cannot overstate how reckless and dangerous that would be if Iran decided to retaliate proportionally. You're putting the entire region, human beings' lives at risk. And I know that everybody on this panel cares about human lives.
They don't have the ability to match.
Iran,
I think you and I do, for sure.
But let me just, you know, because I think this is important when we talk about the scale of the risk, Melinda. Iran doesn't only have the capability and these missiles, these ballistic missiles with more, you know, with 2,000-pound bombs on them. It doesn't just have those capabilities to strike Israel directly. It also has the ability. I was living in D.C. I remember when Iranian agents tried to assassinate the ambassador to Saudi Arabia. They have the ability to respond asymmetrically in the U.S., across Europe, across the Middle East. I mean, is this what we want to risk? Instead of giving diplomacy a chance to work. And last thing I'll say is, trust me, if the American government knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that Iran was on the verge of getting nuclear weapons, we wouldn't even be on this panel having this conversation right now. The US wouldn't wait for Israel to strike. They would do it. So that should tell you something also about where we actually are versus what people are saying we are.
So that's an interesting point, because it brings us to our second segment about diplomacy, about talks. President Trump likes to portray himself as this ultimate peacemaker. And he says he has no interest in starting or perpetuating wars that have no America first benefits. But the US is unlikely to sit on the sidelines if a war does break out between Israel and Iran, something which Prime Minister Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu is very well aware of. And maybe he's utilising that as part of Israel's strategy. Elon, is Israel trying to force the US into this conflict?
No, Israel doesn't want to force the US into a conflict, but I think there is a good cop, bad cop routine here. Because the only leverage that the United States has right now to get a nuclear deal when Iran is 2 weeks away from a nuclear weapon is the threat of military action. I was surprised to hear Jasmine saying that if Iran were really on the cusp of nuclear weapons, the US would absolutely go and use the military option. It's not clear to me that the US would do that. It's not clear to me that the US would prefer to attack Iran's nuclear facilities than to allow Iran to go nuclear. But for Israel, it is considered existential. It was existential when Saddam Hussein was on the brink of nuclear weapons. It was existential when the Assad regime was on the brink of nuclear weapons. And it would be existential if the regime that is chanting death to America, death to Israel, and has enough 60% enriched uranium for 10 nuclear bombs, were able to weaponize that and turn that into nuclear weapons. So look, everyone wants diplomacy to succeed. Israel is saying we want the international community to take firm, urgent action against Iran's non-compliance right now. But if diplomacy fails, and Iran is indeed a whisker away from converting that into a nuclear weapon, getting that 90% uranium, then Israel is going to be with its back against the wall. And no one needs to tell us what the risks are going to be. I had to run to a bomb shelter when the Iranian regime fired ballistic missiles at us last April.
Yeah, look, she rolls her eyes. Homie had to run to a bomb shelter. She's like, you had to run to a bomb shelter. Who cares? Genocide.
Yes, all of my neighbors and all my friends had to run to ballistic. Slaughter of innocent children.
There it is.
I can't even hear you right now because I'm trying
to such a victim, Levy. You're
I'm surprised. I'm really surprised Anna Kasparian doesn't say Gaza yet. Like, I would expect her by now to be saying Gaza.
can't stomach
Okay, you
these
can wait your
lies. I
turn.
really can't.
I understand.
Just let Elon finish, and then we'll bring you in.
I can't.
You can
It
wait your
literally makes
turn.
me sick.
You can
it
wait your
literally makes
turn.
me sick. The lies
Believe me,
make
the
me
nausea
sick.
is absolutely mutual. I've never heard of you before. The nausea is absolutely mutual. I
Get to
had
know
to
me.
run to a
You'll
bomb
hear a lot
shelter
more
when
from me.
Iran was firing ballistic missiles at Israel, and I will have to run to a missile shelter where I won't be able to have internet connection to continue giving interviews if Iran attacks
Stop
us
committing
back.
genocide.
But a nuclear Iran, would be the worst option, not only for Israel, but also for
As a
all the
nuclear
nations
Israel
in the Middle East
currently
that are
is.
desperate to break free from the yoke of the Iranian regime.
Okay, Anna, go ahead.
Just full of lies. I mean, I can show you videos dating back to
That
1996.
makes me think of when Athena was like, Israel sits on a throne of lies.
In which Benjamin Netanyahu is testifying before Congress to say that there are weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. They were lobbying for us to invade Iraq all the way back to 1996. So to the international community, to my fellow Americans, please do not fall for the same lies again. My heart breaks for all the innocent lives that will be lost. My heart breaks for the American soldiers who are going to risk their lives on behalf of this country that is obviously lying to us right now. It is going to be a complete and utter disaster. And if you think that beating Iran or doing regime change in Iran is going to be a cakewalk, consider the fact that it has far greater landmass than Iraq does. 90 million people, far more military capability than Iraq ever had. And we couldn't even defeat the Houthis in Yemen. You think we're going to be able to beat Iran? So many people are going to die. It's going to be a disaster. Don't fall for his lies, please. I'm begging you all to read into it and research it yourself. If you take what the Israelis are saying at face value, you're going to walk into complete death and destruction.
Jasmine, what do you make of those two comments?
Listen, I can tell you, I have been in Middle East policy, either in the region, in government, now outside the government for over 20 years. And I can tell you without exaggeration that every single time we have tried to solve a problem or a challenge in the Middle East with brute force and without diplomacy, without addressing the root causes of the issues, it has come back to bite us tenfold. The Iraq invasion that Anna was just talking about birthed ISIS, and it took years for that to do so. And we all know the impact that ISIS had on Europe, on the region, on the US. I mean, we're still fighting it today. And so I have never seen a problem or a challenge that was solved militarily that didn't create more problems that we also chose to solve militarily. It is a stupidity, it is insanity to do the same thing over and over again and to expect a different reaction. We are talking about human lives that are at risk right now because one person,
I think the only thing you're
Benjamin
missing
Netanyahu,
is that Greta Thunberg. How dare you?
How dare you? Oh, right. I wanted to find that. Hang on.
How dare you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Going on the soundboard. Oh, that's going on the soundboard. Trim that up.
How dare you?
So good. Damn it. Okay.
How dare you?
There we go.
Netanyahu refuses to let diplomacy have a chance. He is at every opportunity trying to meddle in other countries' affairs and trying to stop diplomacy from happening. This is not an attack against a country or a people. I say it every day on my social media, any chance I get. This is about a man who's in charge of a country who is maniacal, who absolutely wants to just shut down any opportunity for peace, any opportunity for diplomacy to survive politically. Benjamin Netanyahu depends on war to survive politically. Think about how cynical that is, to put other people's lives at risk, not only his own countrymen and women, in order to survive politically.
Bro,
it's so
fuck
sinister.
Iran, bro.
Hang on. You just said that if Iran were on the brink of nuclear weapons, you believe that the United States would activate a military option itself, and then you said that actually a military option isn't going to work, and you have to try diplomacy. You know, I'm old enough to remember when the Clinton administration tried to solve the North Korean nuclear crisis with diplomacy. They failed, and now North Korea is nuclear. Either a military option is viable as a last resort,
Israel,
or it is
Elon.
not.
So
you
is
seem to
Israel.
think that a
Israel
military
has
option would
nuclear
be
weapons.
viable
Why are
if
you
the
allowed to
United
have?
States.
I mean,
You seem to think that the United States would be able to activate a military option at a weapon of last resort if diplomacy fails, and then say that Israel shouldn't activate it if diplomacy fails. We're talking about a last resort if the talks collapse and Iran
Yeah, I mean,
remains
the
a
only
nuclear
thing that's
threshold
missing
state.
if they're
That is a
talking about
dangerous
a
future for the region
quote-unquote
that would prevent
maniacal
any
country is
possibility
the
of
little
peace and
meme of the
normalization
person rubbing their hands.
with the countries.
Oh my god, did you see that? There were people saying that shit in Destiny's chat today. There were people posting that meme in Tiny's chat today. It was very upsetting.
You know what? Josh posted one of those things from the Iranian government and general politics.
Yeah, but he was making fun of it.
I hope so.
He was. He definitely was. Look, he may fall in with some of that stupid tanky shit, but he is no anti-Semite. I promise you that.
That are currently just starting to break free from decades of Iranian oppression.
They're trying to break free from decades of Iranian oppression, Elon, but they are unable to break free from continued Israeli oppression. So, first of all, if you're so concerned about
Israel would accept peace with Lebanon and Syria.
Just let Yasmin finish there, Elon.
Sorry, because the Lebanese armed forces time and again have said we are trying our best to abide by the ceasefire, to go in, to get Hezbollah's weapons. The last military strike that Israel did in southern Lebanon, the LAF went through the tripartite mechanism, asked to go see this place that the Israeli military said had Hezbollah weapons depots. The first time they checked it, they couldn't find anything. The second time they said, let us double check it before you strike. The Israelis wouldn't allow them to do so. But that's not what we're arguing about right now. We are saying that what you're saying is that if as a last resort, this military strike should happen by Israel. What do you define as last resort? 4 months of attempted diplomacy? How long did it take for the JCPOA to be negotiated? We are talking about months and months of important work that needs to be done, sensitive work that needs to be done, and it is being done. This is now the 6th round of talks that's going to happen between Iran and the US on Sunday. That is progress. Let it continue.
Sure, but if I could therefore explain the diplomatic timetable, the restrictions that were temporarily placed in the context of JCPOA are set to expire in the fall. And that means that unless something dramatic happens and a new deal takes its place, the possibility for snapback sanctions is going to expire in just a few months. So if diplomacy fails, just before the possibility for snapback sanctions also expires, while Iran remains a nuclear nuclear threshold state with enough highly enriched uranium for 10 nuclear weapons, then that is a last resort, definitely given the limited window of opportunity now before Iran is able to reestablish its stranglehold on the region, and while Lebanon and Syria are so bravely fighting off that Iranian oppression.
And I want to bring you
Can
in
I ask
here.
Levy a question?
Yeah,
Can I
please,
ask
go
Levy a
ahead.
question? I am curious. So my question to you, Levy, is this. You feel strongly about, doing military strikes in Iran. Fair enough. Would you feel as strongly, would you be lobbying as aggressively as you're lobbying right now to do strikes in Iran if the United States took a stand and said, we will provide absolutely no taxpayer money to fund the weapons for that war, and we will not commit to any military assistance to Israel as they try to carry out this war? Would you still want to do it?
In nuclear Iran, the chance of death to Israel
answer the question.
is an existential
He's
threat to my
answering
country.
the question.
I do not want war with Iran. I do not want a strike on Iran.
You do want war with Iran. Don't
I
stop
want
lying about
diplomacy
that.
to succeed.
Would you still pursue that war?
I'm
Tell
sorry,
me.
you asked me a
Yes or no?
question and you keep haranguing me.
And you're not
Maybe bite
answering
your
it.
tongue and let
You're
me
not answering
answer.
it.
Because you're
I
not
do
shutting the
want
fuck
a war with Iran.
up.
I cannot afford a nuclear Iran because it would be an existential threat to my country and place everyone here under the specter of a hostile regime with weapons of mass destruction in living memory of the last genocide of the Jewish people. So if Israel's back is against the wall, it will take the action that it has to in order to eliminate existential threats. And we expect to do that with the support of our allies who understand that when Israel eliminates these dangerous threats, it is standing up for the free world and protecting their interests in the region as well.
I just want to remind Elon, though, as we're talking about this idea about diplomacy failing, I just want to remind everyone that it was Donald Trump that pulled out of the JCPOA. Iran negotiated a deal before. Iran never left the deal. So what makes you think that Iran won't sign another deal after intense negotiations to get the best deal that they can? They never left a deal in the first place. So what's missing? What is this? Where is this coming from?
The question is, what is in the deal? Does the deal leave a pathway open for Iran to build nuclear weapons? Can it hold on to its highly enriched uranium? Can it continue to retain the ability to enrich uranium that in future, when it is more powerful and spies a window of opportunity, it can use to build nuclear weapons? We need a deal that eliminates Iran's nuclear program. It's been done before. It was done with Libya, where diplomacy succeeded, and they dismantled Libya's nuclear program. And if diplomacy works and Iran agrees to that, great. I'll be the first one to cheerlead it. But at the moment, the US's red lines do not match Iran's red lines because Iran is demanding that it remain a nuclear threshold state that can enrich its own uranium when it has already enriched so much more at such high levels that have absolutely no civilian justification. The only possible reason to have so much 60% uranium is to build a nuclear bomb.
You've been in government. I've been in government. We both know that that's how negotiations start. You have two parties on opposite ends of the spectrum, and negotiations get them to a position that both of them can swallow, that both of them can accept. That is what negotiations are for.
Wait, what? Hideous cartoon? I feel so tired. What are you talking about? Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. That is exactly what we're talking about.
Elon, not war, not strikes, negotiations.
And I hope they succeed.
Anna, last word from you before we move on to our next segment.
Bomb is closed off.
I just think it would be a huge mistake for the United States to get involved in yet another regime change war in the Middle East. Americans are sick of it. We have our own problems in our own country. We provide Israel billions of dollars every single year, no questions asked, for their defense. We provided them with, the Iron Dome. They get endless support from the United States, sometimes to the detriment of the American people. And it would be ridiculous to get dragged into another war that does not need to even begin. And I totally agree. We can pursue diplomatic means. If we're going to have a problem with Iran enriching enough uranium to provide energy to their people, we should maybe reconsider whether or not we're okay with Israel being a nuclear power, which, if you notice, Levy refused to even acknowledge for good reason. Thank you for having me on the show.
It's a very, very timely point, Anna, because that brings us exactly onto our final segment. Israel is widely believed to have possessed nuclear weapons since the 1960s, but it has never officially declared its weapons program. It's the only country of the 9 sovereign states in possession of nuclear weapons to maintain such a level of ambiguity, of this opaque veil over their nuclear program. Elon, let me ask you then, if Israel is happy to fly under the radar, why should Iran have to be held to a higher standard? Why shouldn't it have nuclear weapons if Israel's allowed to have them and not declare them?
Iran is threatening the existence of a sovereign state. It leads crowds in chants of death to Israel. It surrounded Israel with a ring of fire of proxy armies like Hezbollah and Hamas and the Houthis. It has rained hundreds, thousands of ballistic missiles on this country in recent years. Iran is an aggressor with visionless state that is attempting to expand control in the Middle East and place it under its thumb, while Israel is trying to reach peace and normalization accords with other sovereign states. So the Iranian nuclear bomb would be a threat for the whole region. It would be a threat for the whole world because the Houthi pirates who are currently shooting missiles at ships in the Red Sea would come under the protection of a nuclear power that is going to seek to metastasize inside Lebanon, inside Syria, inside Iraq, subvert these countries from within, and if
spent a while trying to skim this data from the custom website and have come to the conclusion that I need to learn Python.
Iran gains nuclear weapons, it would be unstoppable, and an Iranian-dominated Middle East would be a direct threat to Europe and beyond.
Anna, let me ask you that same question. Why shouldn't Iran have nuclear weapons?
Well, I think in the case of Israel, it would be a lot more difficult to, carry out some of the acts and cheerlead for the types of wars that they've been able to.
Wait. She doesn't want Iran to have nuclear weapons. So what the fuck are you bitching about? Be happy. Oh my God.
Drag the United States into in the Middle East. Nuclear weapons can be seen as a deterrent, as has kind of been the case in this war in Ukraine. Part of the reason why the United States and Ukraine has to be incredibly careful is because of the fact that Russia is in fact a nuclear power. In that particular case, Ukraine giving up their nuclear weapons in the 1990s at our behest ended up really being not a great idea for Ukraine, because that deterrent could have really helped them in this particular case. Now, once Iran has possession of a nuclear weapon, it's a lot more difficult for Israel to manufacture the consent necessary to invade that country. I think that's really at the heart of this. But I would love for Iran to not have nuclear weapons. I would love for Israel. I didn't interrupt you, even though you're discussing lies endlessly.
This is ridiculous.
No, it's not ridiculous. I'm telling the truth. And here's the thing. There aren't a lot of American journalists who have been willing to tell the truth as openly and honestly as I'm doing, and you guys can't stand it. I get it. It's really difficult.
You guys just let Anna finish, Elon, then we'll come to you.
Well, let me finish. Yeah, I know it hurts your feelings. I know it's difficult for me to explain exactly what the Israeli government's plans are, what they have dragged us into in the past.
It's difficult because you have
no
fucking
not too long ago, I think it was last month,
Anna
as international diplomats from Europe actually were in the occupied area of Jenin specifically. The
what
IDF
does this
fired
have
bullets
to
at them,
do
and by the way, later
with
took
the current
responsibility of the fact that they fired bullets at them.
We're talking about
That
Iran
seems like
nuclear
terroristic activity.
proliferation.
Why was that okay? And why have we not heard about the consequences that those IDF soldiers faced, if any at all, after they decided to fire rounds at international diplomats as they were visiting Jenin? And
in that particular incident, there was a misunderstanding because the diplomats had agreed and approved the route with the army and then diverted from it in an active battle zone. But I have to push back against this really crazy accusation as if you're trying to find my little horns on my head here. Israel wants peace and normalization in the region. Israel would like nothing more than peace agreements tomorrow with Lebanon, with Syria, with Iraq, with Yemen. They do not want peace with Israel. Israelis were overjoyed when the Abraham Accords happened, and Morocco and Bahrain and the UAE made peace with Israel. And we were hoping that Saudi Arabia would be next. And then what happened? Hamas invaded on October 7th, brutally massacred 1,200 people, took 251 hostages in an attempt to foil peace in the Middle East. This Iranian-funded, trained proxy militia launched the opening shot of a regional war against Israel in order to prevent the positive dynamic of peace and normalization in the region. We want to see that continue. For that to continue, Iran cannot have nuclear weapons one way or another. Preferably diplomacy.
Can we talk about all the funding sources for Hamas? Because if I remember correctly, they haven't facilitated the funding of Hamas.
The problem with cutting me off is that I can't actually hear you while I'm speaking. So if you let me finish speaking, I will be able to hear your interruption. Israel wants peace and normalization in the region. Iran is trying to put the whole region under its imperial foot.
Oh man, I like that one. If you let me finish speaking, I'll be able to hear your interruption.
It's a key difference.
Okay, to keep things on track, I'm going to ask a question to Yasmin. If you were Iran and you've seen the way Israel has behaved to you in the past, you see the way that the US has behaved, would you trust that they're going to lift sanctions if you sign up to this nuclear deal? If you were Iran, wouldn't you want to develop nuclear weapons to protect yourself?
I mean, you don't have to try very hard to put yourself in any country's shoes to answer that question. If you just look at what's been happening over the last few months, every time that Israel enters into a ceasefire agreement, it reneges on its responsibilities. In January, when the Trump administration came in and pushed a deal through between Hamas and Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu balked when it came time to negotiating phase 2. And this is not according to my personal opinion. This is from Israeli negotiators who are in Doha, who are privy to these conversations. It is a well-known fact, and Benjamin Netanyahu has stated it clearly. I mean,
no, the well-known fact is that whenever there's a fucking peace deal, Hamas will take the peace deal, silently reject the peace deal that they've been given, submit a new peace deal, and then before anybody gets a chance to look at it, they say, oh, we've accepted our peace deal. And it'll be one that they know that Israel can't accept. They've done this over and 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 over again.
I mean, we can all read the Israeli press. It's translated into English. He doesn't want to abide by any
what
ceasefires.
They did with the bodies of the kids.
Wait, what? Which ones?
When they were handing over the bodies of the Bibas kids, that was a violation technically of how the ceasefire should be, because the remains were supposed to be handled with respect, and it was like staging a Bollywood production.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Also, that point that was brought out earlier.
What? Which one?
You know, the point brought out earlier about the Hezbollah ceasefire in Lebanon.
Mm-hmm.
They sort of soy out about that. The articles in that agreement of the ceasefire clearly state that if Hezbollah does not remove forces and weapons from
right, they
near
were
the
below,
Litani, South
yeah, they were
Litani,
below like what was it? I can't remember what
latitude
it was.
Yeah, that it entitles Israel to take military action.
Right, and that was in the ceasefire agreement, and they violated it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I don't even think the Lebanese government was like. I don't think the Lebanese government was even like coming out like we condemn Israel for blah 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 blah. I'm pretty sure the Lebanese government was like, yeah, fuck Hezbollah, get rid of them. And look at how much happier they are. Look at how much more functional the Lebanese government is now.
Yeah, 100%.
Same thing in Lebanon. There was a ceasefire. Israel was supposed to withdraw from Lebanese territory. It still holds 5 locations in southern Lebanon in violation of that ceasefire. So
that's not in violation of the ceasefire.
We don't have to guess, what Israel would do if an agreement was signed. We already see what it's doing. I think the biggest problem here, and I've seen this both inside and outside of government, is that Israel, unfortunately, when Elon says that Israel wants peace, I believe that Israelis want peace. But when Elon says that this Israeli government wants peace, they want peace for them. not peace for everybody. They want to make sure that no one attacks them, but that they have the ability to attack people and countries whenever they feel like it. They hold themselves to a different standard, and they hold other countries to different standards than they hold themselves. Israel conducted its nuclear program in secret and then said, well, we're not going to talk about it, but they have a nuclear program. It was conducted in secret because they said we're faced with threats all around us. Well, Iran can say the same thing. It can say we're faced with a threat from Israel. Look at how it's acting all throughout the region. We better protect ourselves with a nuclear weapon. But lastly, I want to say, and this is to me something that I think is really important and pervades the way that Israel and also Western countries deal with the Middle East. It's quite dehumanizing and it's quite racist to think that everybody around you is incapable of acting like rational human beings when
Then how come they never do? Oh, that's an unfortunate frame to be paused on. How come they never do then, lady who I've never heard of before? Do you think October 7th is a rational way of handling this? Do you think the Second Intifada was a rational way of handling this? Bro, get the fuck out of here.
in fact, you are the one who's acting irrationally, according to every person, every military strategy. Excuse me, I'm just saying, when it comes to Prime Minister Netanyahu, when it comes to this government's strategic plans and their implementation in Gaza, you have Israeli military generals, you have former US secretaries of defense who are saying that this makes absolutely no strategic sense. You have an opportunity, just to come full circle to what I started with, a historic opportunity in the region where most of the countries in the region want to work together towards peace, and you're choosing the same old, tired, ineffective military solutions that are never actually solutions.
Let's have peace.
I think we can all agree on that, Elon. I think what we're seeing is that the Prime Minister of Israel is not interested in peace. And everyone is talking about Iran, 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 but we're not talking about the fact that Israel has slapped every outstretched hand that has been stretched out in its direction for the last 2 years, ever since what... Look, you can't...
Literally not. You're predicating your whole argument on this idea that Hamas has been negotiating ceasefires in good faith. That's absolute fucking bullshit, dude. Your whole argument is so stupid because you just like assumed that every time Hamas said, "Oh, we've agreed to a ceasefire," that it was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna hold hands and be happy and like fix all of this." But they've been dishonest in their negotiations, and Israel's not the only one to have said that. Like, this is such a fucking dishonest argument.
I can't deny that. If you want to deny that, I want to hear what you have.
Netanyahu was expecting. No, I'm sorry. Look, I don't speak for the government. Okay. But
I didn't say you are. We're talking about what's happening in the region right now.
Netanyahu was expecting the crowning achievement of his premiership and his legacy to be a peace accord with Saudi Arabia. He sees peace with the UAE, Bahrain, and Morocco as some of the biggest achievements of his time in power.
But instead, his legacy is going to be genocide, Elon. That's done. That shit has failed.
Of course, we don't want Iranian proxy armies on our borders that have the ability to fire ballistic missiles, invade our cities, and butcher people at will. Of course, Israel wants peace. And if Lebanon wants peace,
Lebanon and Syria.
Jasmine, we'll just let Elon respond and then we'll come back.
Immediately. If Syria wants peace, it should have peace negotiations
Yeah,
immediately.
shut up,
Willing Israeli
Yasmin.
partner.
Whoever you are.
And we can just see that's not true. I don't know what to say when we can actually see with our own eyes.
Why do you think Israel would want to be surrounded by countries that don't recognize it and don't accept its existence and are in a state of war with it? We've been in a state of war with our neighbors.
That's exactly my question. Why would it want to continue doing it?
Israel? Of course we want them to get over their historical hump and move forward.
Literally no agency on anybody else but Israel. Literally none. It's like there's no responsibility that can be given to anybody but Israel. It's always Israel's fault. It's never the fact that all of these other countries have attacked first in almost every single fucking instance. It is nothing to do with the fact that whenever they negotiate in bad faith and they jerk Israel around and Israel gives more and more concessions and they just fucking walk away. There's no agency for any of these other regimes. No, it always is on Israel. This is just so stupid, dude. You can't negotiate if only one side is actually trying to negotiate.
Future of peace and reconciliation. We're waiting for them to get stuck out of the past.
Anna, what's your take on it?
Yes. I'm just, listen, this is very simple. The country that is currently carrying out a genocide and the illegal annexation...
Can you stay focused, Anna, please? Can you just stay focused, please, on the topic at hand instead of always getting distracted, please? Not everything is about that. This is about Iran.
The West Bank building more illegal settlements. You need to stop interrupting me when I'm saying something.
Elon, let Anna respond and then we'll come to you for the final word before we wrap up.
I don't believe Israel wants peace. Israel's behavior over the last year and a half gives me every indication that they're not interested in peace. They are carrying out the slaughter of innocent people, both in Gaza and the West Bank. They're doing it with absolutely no brakes in that car, and it's unacceptable that U.S. taxpayers are bankrolling that genocide. It gives me a great deal of shame to know that, but unfortunately, our politicians here are bought. I do wonder what exactly our politicians would actually think if they weren't bought by lobbying groups like AIPAC, for instance. But alas, we have corruption baked into our political system, and as a result, the American people and civilians in the Middle East have to suffer on behalf of the Israeli government.
Elon, final response from you, and then we'll wrap.
Yeah, I mean, Anna, with this deranged conspiratorial thinking, is trying to manufacture consent for political violence against Jews and Israelis around the world by framing Israel as genocidal. We
One-trick
were
ponies,
attacked
always the same
on October
argument.
7th with a brutal massacre in which people were mowed down at a music festival and children were burned alive in their homes. And in response, Israel is fighting a war in the most difficult urban battlefield possible, where Hamas has dug tunnels under schools and homes and even hospitals. Mohammed Sinwar was hiding under the emergency department of the European hospital in Gaza. So is there destruction? Yes, of course, because the government of Gaza placed its military bases under civilian areas. It should free the hostages.
We can't get too bogged down in Israel, Gaza, because that's a whole other show. Elon, if you could just focus your final comments on the Israel-Iran situation, and then we'll leave it there.
I hope that diplomacy succeeds in preventing Iran from getting nuclear weapons, and then I hope that Iranians are able to build a democracy in their country, and that we can have peace between Israel and Iran.
Indeed, I wish we had more time to continue this debate, because it's been really illuminating and we have appreciated everyone's input, but unfortunately we have to leave it there. Thank you very much to Anna Kasparian, journalist and host of The Young Turks, Jasmine Al-Jamal, a former Middle East advisor at the Pentagon, and Elon Levy, a former Israeli government spokesman. Your contribution here at Counterpoints is very valued. Thanks for your time.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yikes, bro. Yikes. All right, what do we want to do next? I know there was something else. Oh, right. We wanted to watch the I wanted to watch the Counterpoints with Tiny. With Tiny on it.
Let's get more analysis now.
A manufactured crisis or a real state of emergency? Immigration raids sparked protests in Los Angeles, but are demonstrators solely to blame for the clashes? Or have President Trump's broader anti-immigration policies fanned these flames? Is it xenophobia? Or are these America First policies that the president was elected to enforce? That debate coming up on Counterpoints with me, Melinda Nusafora. A manufactured crisis or a real state of emergency? America's political and ideological divisions are being laid bare on the streets of Los Angeles. Immigration raids sparked the protests.
What was the point of that?
Are demonstrators solely to blame for the violent clashes, or have President Trump's broader anti-immigration policies fanned these flames? It's up for debate here on Counterpoints with me, Melinda Nusafora.
Don't do it again. Don't do it. Don't say the same thing again. You better not.
Welcome to the land of liberty. Historically, a nation of immigrants
The land
where
of
free
liberty.
speech is protected by the Constitution.
It's a shame that you guys are trying to start a civil war on your own people.
What's heartbreaking the most because they're making it seem like they're really bad people, like criminals, and when they're not, when they're just trying to work hard for their own families.
He's going to try to go to something that he has a martial law. He even alluded to civil war at one point.
President Trump made the highly controversial decision to call in the National Guard, arguing LA's protests against immigration officials were violent. Their arrival sparked more anger, which led to more violence, which in turn gave ammunition to the White House to argue migrants are causing chaos across America. So is the use of the National Guard in this instance justifiable? LA Mayor Karen Bass doesn't think so.
But what we're seeing in Los Angeles is chaos that is provoked by the administration. When you raid Home Depot and workplaces, when you tear parents and children apart, and when you run armored caravans through our streets, you cause fear and you cause panic. And deploying federalized troops is a dangerous escalation.
The immigration raids targeting undocumented workers coincide with the introduction of tough new US travel restrictions. People from 19 countries are now either partially or totally banned from entering the US. It begs the question, is the White House orchestrating this crisis to justify its tough anti-immigration stance? On this episode of Counterpoints, we'll ask our panel, are the protests justified, or is this an attempt to prevent officials from carrying out their legal duties? Is the use of the National Guard an abuse of presidential power, and are Trump's travel bans reasonable or racist? To discuss the LA protests, the Trump administration's response, and the wider debate on tackling immigration, we're joined by Steve Burnell, also known as Destiny, who's a YouTuber and political commentator. And on our panel as well, Lily Gaddis, a cultural commentator who hosts the Gaddis Report for the Australian National Review. Thanks to both of you for joining us here on Counterpoints. Well, President Trump was elected on a promise to crack down on illegal migration in America. And he says that's exactly what he's doing. Here's a social media post from his Truth Social site where the president wrote, "Los Angeles has been invaded and occupied by illegal aliens and criminals," he wrote. He went on to say his administration would do everything necessary to liberate Los Angeles from the migrant invasion and put an end to these migrant riots. Now the protesters are rallying against ICE enforcement.
Oh, also, there's in the comments section for this video, I remember. I had to show you guys because this is fucking funny. Look who posted. Look who left Tiny a comment. Look who left him a comment. It's Elon Chalakian, our guy, our old friend.
Many concerned about the agency's tactics and actions and its impact on the broader community. Destiny, let's start with you. Do you think these protests are justified in any sense when you consider the president has a mandate to crack down on illegal migration?
Yeah, of course. I think people have been really fearful about a lot of the behavior of ICE, a lot of the behavior of this administration, much of which has been pushed back on by the courts. You see Abrego Garcia coming back. You see multiple TROs being issued nationwide. I think that protesting the administration and their actions, I think is totally fine. I think it can also be wholly consistent with enforcing the border and enforcing immigration policy. There's no reason why we can't deport criminals. There's no reason why we can't enforce law at the border, while also recognizing that it's important that, you know, states are allowed to exist with the individual states' rights they had. Like all the Republicans were celebrating Abbott when he wanted to do his states' rights stuff against Biden, but now it seems like people are celebrating Trump, you know, arbitrarily sending the National Guard to California, even though Newsom says that they're not needed at all. Yeah, but I think it's okay for people to protest. I think that's fine. I think rioters should be arrested. I don't see any reason why the National Guard has to be deployed here other than Trump just trying to make a show of force.
Lily, what do you think? Do you see a justification for these protests? If it's a land of free speech, the right to assembly?
Oh, no.
Right. Well, I absolutely agree with, you know, people's right to free speech. I want people to be able to go out on the streets and protest and rally in a peaceful, nonviolent way. As long as you're not breaking the law, then I don't see a problem with it. That's an important part of living in a democracy. That's an important part of living in the United States where we have those sort of freedoms. But what we're seeing is the opposite of that. We have people throwing Molotov cocktails. We have people attacking the ICE vehicles, and it's a violent protest. So I think Trump's response is definitely warranted. When you have vast amounts of people trying to, I don't know, kill ICE agents, who knows, or cause as much damage as possible, and you have a civilian populace that you also have to protect, sometimes the police are simply not equipped for that. So in certain instances, it is a good thing to bring out the National Guard and have a strong show of force so that people do not feel comfortable with violating other people's rights by being violent, by attacking ICE vehicles and anything like that, which is illegal, which is not free speech, and which is not the right to protest, because they're engaging in violent attacks against these people. They're not just speaking their mind.
What about the notion, Destiny, I'll ask you first and I'll come back to you, Lily, for a response, that these protesters were provoked? It's almost as if it's been orchestrated for the protests to fail, so to speak, because there is so much provocation. That's one criticism that's been leveled against the Trump administration.
I mean, I think they're being provocative with the National Guard, of course. I agree, rule of law is important. You can't have people engaging in violent acts, but you absolutely don't need to send the National Guard for every single protest. The first protests were a few dozen people. I think the second protest on June 7th, was like 105 people or something. It was like a little bit over 100 people. Why are we deploying the National Guard for this? I feel like the deployment of the National Guard was so arbitrary. It was almost self-defeating by Trump. Gavin Newsom pointed out that Trump was truthing out that the National Guard had managed to quell all of the rioting and it was incredibly successful in its mission. And Trump had posted that truth on Truth Social before the National Guard had even made it to the ground. So I think that it is definitely provocative. I don't think people on the left should be taking bait. There's no reason to burn stuff down or do anything like that. But I mean, I wish that Trump would stop constantly turning the temperature up on every single conversation just to try to take eyes away from his failed trade policy, his failed international policy, his failed policy in Gaza, his failed domestic policy, like everything else. Like I wish that he could just try to govern for real instead of just constantly being a provocateur in every single arena.
What do you make of that, Lily? Is this an attempted distraction by the president to try and cause some chaos in one area so that people aren't really looking at where there may have been some stumbling blocks?
I mean, I think there's a valid argument to be said that it could be a distraction, because right now we have the New York Times breaking that Palantir is collecting all of people's data, and now that we're possibly living on the brink of a police state and a surveillance state governed by AI, that's a major story that people should be looking at. We're also on the cusp of a war with Iran. I mean, this deal with Iran is coming to the last days, and this is what people should be focusing on. They should be focusing on trying to keep us out of this war and trying to make sure that the powers that be that are controlling our government do not amass any more power, or bring in Palantir to surveillance all of us. So in that case, I would agree. I don't think it's necessary.
about other things, but I think the main things that people should be focusing on right now is the Palantir takeover and this kind of subversion of the Trump administration through these tech bros and through the PayPal mafia. That's what people should be looking at, and we should also be looking at this potential.
Yo, like, these people live in an entirely different world from the rest of us.
War with Iran, which is coming to, the deadline's coming to an end.
What do you make, Lily, of the argument that the rage that is being expressed on the streets in Los Angeles is justified when you consider that it is life and death for some of these people that are being forcibly removed from the United States, in some cases illegally?
Well, I mean, if that's the argument, then you can make the same argument for anyone who's being arrested for any crime. Like, say you get a DUI and now the cops are going to arrest you. Does that warrant an outrage because people don't want people being arrested for breaking the law? I mean, at the end of the day, like, if you didn't want to be deported, if you didn't want to face that fear of being deported, you should have come in legally. It's there. The option is there to come in legally. But these people decided to break the law, and now they are facing the consequences of it. And I believe that they feel like if they throw a big enough fit, if they cause enough, wreak enough havoc on the towns that they're doing this in Los Angeles at the current moment, that they're going to get their way and they'll make the Trump administration back down. But that's not what people voted Trump for. They voted Trump in to get rid of this illegal alien problem, because we have millions of these people in our country. They are bringing drugs, they are bringing fentanyl, they are driving the crime rate up. It's taking away jobs from the American citizen, and these are all things that people want the Trump administration to crack on hard down on. So I think it is important that people keep their eye on the ball and are not distracted by people throwing a fit.
Destiny, what do you make of that? And what do you make of the idea that if these people are in the US illegally without the appropriate documentation, isn't it an expectation that they will be caught and dealt with, and that this is something that President Trump was elected to do?
I mean, it's the risk that you run, but I really wish that we could just have an honest conversation about immigration, about illegal immigration, about what to do with the people here. It just seems like endless hand-wringing sometimes from some people, and then endless virtue signaling from other people. I would say the virtue signaling right now is coming from the conservatives. If we want to do something about immigration, then we need to have a comprehensive plan for how to allow people to come into the country, how to document the people that are currently here, and then how to control the border better. But it feels like conservatives just want to crack down on illegal immigration and then do nothing about, like, actual immigration. Earlier Lily said that there's a legal way to come in. There is, and the wait list is like 20 plus years. Like, the reality is most people, especially if they are feeling economically destitute, or if they feel like there are way better opportunities in this country, which there are because this country is awesome, people are probably going to illegally immigrate. I just wish that we could have a better conversation about what to do with the people here. We're not deporting 13, 15 million people. Most of the people in this country don't even want that. They might say it now, but when apartment complexes start emptying out, when businesses start losing their workers, when the unemployment falls even lower, when inflation starts to take off even higher, like, people aren't going to be happy with that. There has to be a realistic path towards how do you document the people here, how do you control what's happening at the border. But in order to do that, you have to go to Congress, you've got to talk to the people, and you have to actually hammer out some incredibly sophisticated and difficult to work on legislation. And nobody wants to do that right now. They just want to do executive orders, and they want to have, ICE running around and having dramatic, Twitter moments on social media, and I don't know, it just feels like that's all we're doing right now.
Lily, what's your take? I mean, the idea that about 10% of the workforce in California is made up of migrant workers. Clearly there is a need. That state is very open about the fact that it relies heavily on migrant workers. So undocumented or not, doesn't the community need them?
Well, I think the caveat that people are not mentioning with this argument that they are filling jobs that Americans don't want or they're not doing, what everybody's missing is these employers do need these workers. They do need cheap labor. They do need essentially slave labor from other countries where they can pay them less than an American citizen would take. An American citizen expects, normal work hours. They expect a good work environment, and they expect to be paid at least minimum wage. Now, if you import millions of people from countries where they're used to making pennies and dimes on an hour, then those people are willing to make concessions. Those people are willing to live together, multiple people in a house, sometimes illegally, and they're willing to receive less pay for that, considering that they're usually getting paid under the table, so they're not having to deal with taxes and all the things that American citizens have to deal with. So that's a major issue right there, and I think that's why Trump's cracking down on the employers that are incentivizing this thing, because it's not only taking away jobs from Americans who would be willing to do those jobs at a decent pay rate, but they're not going to take those jobs if they're getting paid pennies and dimes. But these employers have been taking advantage. Really, I mean, if you want a virtue signal for the immigrants, this is exploitation. They're essentially bringing in slave labor to do jobs at half the wages that American would do that. So I think yes, maybe temporarily the economy would suffer a bit, but we would get back on track.
Like, at least try to hide it
work that
a
out
little
to where
bit.
they work at a rate that would satisfy both the employer and the the worker.
Isn't that just an argument, though, as to also why the US should allow more legal migration, that these people without documentation should be brought into the legal fold so that this isn't perpetually just being an exploitative culture?
Well, personally, I don't really want any more immigrants here. I don't want any more legal immigrants, and I don't want any more illegal immigrants. We have enough people as it is.
Oh, I'm going to slow this down. Tiny's about to have a hilarious reaction to what this woman says. Watch this.
Well, because it makes Americans suffer. It not only affects the culture, so it changes the demographics of the country, which will affect the white people who live in this country, but it's also going to affect, things like housing. Now Americans...
Tiny's face, dude. Oh, that was so funny. Look at his reaction to that. He's like, wow, she actually fucking said the quiet part out loud.
So it changes the demographics of the country, which will affect the white people who live in this country, but it's also going to affect, you know, things like housing. Now Americans are struggling with housing. The cost of housing is going way up because now we're competing with millions of other people. So it hurts your economy. It hurts the everyday person because now they're struggling with these people and they can't find houses. They're competing with people at slave labor. And even if we did have someone come in and they were taking normal wages, that's still taking a job away from an American citizen. I would rather that job be done by an American citizen than someone who just got here and they're here for economic opportunity rather than they're fleeing a dangerous situation, which is the majority of these immigrants.
Destiny?
Usually you can tell when the person you're arguing with or a person who's presenting arguments is being dishonest is when they're trying to present a thing that can give you like the pros of every side of an equation. The reality is for any given thing, especially economically, usually this works policy-wise as well, there's usually pros and there's usually cons. And the goal is to try to get as much of the pros as possible while minimizing the negative impacts of the cons. The idea that if you deport 12 or 13 million workers, that would only result in pros for the American average citizen is so unbelievably and unfathomably ludicrous. It defies the understanding of every single part of society, all the way from government budgets, which are benefited by illegal immigrants who pay taxes into Social Security that they'll never withdraw from, all the way down to local economies where you've got people who are able to, rent buildings out to people that are renting them, even if they're illegal immigrants. You've got employers who are able to hire people, even if they might be paying them under the table or whatever. And then at the end of that transaction, you've got customers who are enjoying lower prices and a greater diversity of things that they can buy from as a result of that. If you want to get rid of all of the illegal immigrants and then you want to curb down, or you want to curb legal immigration, then fine, but you have to be honest about what's on the other end of that transaction. Prices are going to be higher for everybody. A whole bunch of small businesses are going to shut down. Housing prices, yes, might go down, but that means that homeowners that own houses are going to see the value of their own home decrease. You're going to see the foreclosure or the closing of a lot of residential buildings that people are renting from. I think that if you want to make that argument, I think it's an interesting argument to have, but it's so unbelievably boring when people try to argue that you can get the pros of every possible side of an equation if you just do the one thing that they like the most. I've never heard anybody make the concession that, yeah, we're going to deport 50 million people and it is going to be economically painful, but I think that economic pain is worth whatever other project I think America should be or whatever idea I have about what immigration should look like.
Lily?
Well, I mean, I did say that there would be short-term economic, mishaps to that. The economy is going to suffer. But again, in the long term, what is better? Is it better to replace the native population with migrants coming from other countries, which is now going to drive the quality
We're
of...
not the native population, though, you dingbat. Good Lord, dude. This woman's not even like a hidden Nazi. She's just like a straight up fucking Nazi.
Living down, the quality of work life down, because if you're competing with illegal immigrants or legal immigrants who are used to coming from countries, again, where they get paid hardly anything, now Americans are going to have to make those concessions. Now Americans are going to say, you know what, it's fine. I'll shack up with 10 of my cousins and I'll live in a tiny house with tons of people and I'll work for slave wages as well because this is what I'm competing with because we're outnumbered at this point. Another thing is, what nobody wants to talk about is you lose the racial demographics in your country. Is it wrong for a person in our country to want a country that's majority white?
This woman just is never mask on. Mask off the whole time. She doesn't even bother with the mask.
That a wrong thing? And if you replace the native populace with people from other countries, that is going to change that culture. So it's no longer going to be the United States or America as we know it. It's going to look like a reflection of the UK, look like a reflection of all these other European countries who tried mass migration, and look how it's failing. People
but America is a country of migrants, though. America is a country that was founded by migrants.
Come on.
Was it though?
Dude.
I mean, who are the founders? They were white Americans that came over here, and then they would.
Unless it's the Native Americans, which I don't necessarily think that America probably wants to pin their cultural responsibilities on. Destiny, what's your take on this? Sounds a bit like the Great Replacement theory.
I mean, if somebody wants to have the argument for maintaining a white majority country, then fine, but at least be honest and have the argument. It's not an economic argument. It's a racial demographics argument. If you're willing to make dramatic sacrifices in terms of where the U.S. sits at in the world, right now we are the leading country in the world, economically, militarily, diplomatically, well, I guess we'll see by the end of this presidency. But we enjoy that status right now. And as a result of that, we enjoy a great deal of other things as well. You know, people might laugh at the GDP go up number, but our standards of living are incredibly high in the United States. You know, we're spoiled by a whole bunch of goods and services. You've got a whole bunch of teenagers on Twitter right now who are complaining about oppression because the 4-payment loan they took out on their burrito taxi app is all of a sudden, you know, unable to be paid by them because they're not getting enough allowance from their parents. I mean, I would argue these are good problems to have. If you want to try to shoot for some ethnically homogenous society, I mean, I guess my first question is, who are we even trying to look like at that point? Like, are we envious of Japan that's been in stagflation for, you know, for the past 3 decades? Are we envious of what, Iran, of North Korea? Like, who are these ethnically homogenous countries that we're so jealous of their economic and cultural output? I mean, I don't know. Again, but if you want to have that argument, that's fine, but just don't conflate it with the economic one. This is an economically ruinous argument, or at least it's a loser of an economic argument. But again, that's fine, but just be willing to take both sides of that. I'm willing to suffer, not just in the short term. It will be a long-term decreased standard of living. It will be a long-term decrease access to goods and services from the average American person. And that doesn't just mean fancy new iPhones. It might mean an instrument for your child to go and practice on for school, or it might mean newer textbooks for a class, or it might mean internet access for, you know, for people in rural areas. You know, if you're willing to accept a lower turnout on all of that stuff in exchange for a wider country, whatever that means, I guess. I guess then we could talk about who counts as white or not. We have to go to the Eastern Europeans and figure that one out. Then fine, have that argument.
Lily, so pick up on one thing that Destiny said there. What is this racially homogenous country that you think America should be emulating? What's the ideal here? Who should we be looking to as guidance?
I don't think we have to look to anyone else. I think we can do it on our own. We did it on our own for a long time before we started mass immigrating from other cultures that are not compatible with the West. Back in the, you know, Ellis Islands days, who were we importing people from? They were white Europeans from Ireland, from Scotland, from England.
Yeah, they didn't see them as white back then.
Those people assimilated well. Those people came into our country and they wanted to be Americans.
This
if
is
you
a
take a
dumb
look, to go
argument.
back to the LA riots, if you take a look at the pictures coming out of there, what is it? It's a lot of illegals flying the flags of their native country. Why are you here then? If you're protesting being sent back to your country, why are you flying the flag of that country? These people clearly do not want to assimilate. They clearly do not care about our culture. They are not part of our culture, and they don't want to be part of our culture, as they make it very clear. They love to display their flags of their country that they came from. They love to keep their little subcultures homogenous, and they do not want to blend in with ours. They will simply want to take over ours, and then the white people who live here, who have historically lived here, and black people,
oh my God.
It's actually, if you want to talk about black rights, these illegal immigrants are invading the areas that have been predominantly black, and now they're forcing people out. So that in and of itself hurts not only white people, but black people who have been here for a while as well.
Destiny, I'll let you have the right of reply on that, and then we'll move on to our next section.
Yeah, I mean, the idea that these immigrants came through Ellis Island and immediately integrated is kind of comical. I mean, people hated Irish people when they came over. There were slurs referring to Irish people. There are still jokes about Irish people. I just had a friend the other day tell me that they were an Irish twin because they had a sibling that was incredibly close in age, and there was a joke that Irish people made a whole bunch of babies when they came over. Italians were literally, you know, you talk about MS-13, what about the mafia? What about the mob? They came over, they made ghettos. You could go to New York City today, and you could visit Little Italy, and you can visit these small, you know, ghettos that are primarily made up of certain groups of these types of people, of Italians, of Irishmen, of Irish people. Yeah, they did organized crime. It took a while for them to integrate, but they did. And I think to some extent, ironically, one of my favorite things about, I guess, far-right people, or I don't want to say racist or xenophobic, you know, whatever you call them, right?
Oh,
but the people that are in favor of this like majority white immigration pattern, I think at times
I can't even fix these guys
unknowingly like some of the best of the United States' ability to integrate different types of people into its society and culture. Like if you would have gone back 100 years and then you would say today, oh no, people who are Irish and Italian are going to be seen as white, literally the exact same as anybody who came from Scandinavia or any Anglo-Saxons or people from Britain or whatever, they would laugh at you. They'd be like, no, these are totally different types of people. But now they're basically integrated. And yeah, I think we do that exceedingly well with all sorts of different types of people in the United States because of the way that we allow people to come into this country.
Okay, let's move our attention and our focus away from race and migration just a little bit and focus on the presidential powers that were used during these past few days. So calling in the National Guard is usually the purview of state governors, but not in this case. President Trump's decision to send in the troops has been described by the Californian governor, Gavin Newsom, as an alarming abuse of power and a serious breach of state sovereignty. So one former US Secretary of Labor has called this the first stage of a police state. Lily, do you think he's right?
I mean, if you want to look at police state, again, I would go back to Palantir. Those are the people that want to have
Bro, she
power
is such
every aspect of your life. That's what it says on their website. It's like AI automation for every decision of your
absolute
life
conspiracy
or whatever.
theorist. This woman.
Those are the people. Those are the people. The tech bros, the PayPal mafia. That's who you need to be looking at.
For the moment we're debating.
Ladies like, yeah, fucking weirdo. Pay attention.
The National Guard. So if you could focus on that, do you think that this particular use
Focus up, lady.
of the National
Focus
Guard,
up.
the cracking down on protests in this regard, is it the first stage of a police state, as the former Secretary of Labor, Robert Reich, says?
I don't think it is, because these people, they have to bring in the National Guard as backup for the police force, who has been very hurt over the past. I mean, look at BLM. During that whole time, you had the police basically stripped of their rights. They were told you can barely do anything. Then you had the George Floyd incident. So now cops are in this situation where they are kind of powerless. The LAPD especially, it's actually a very corrupt form of the police department. But the LAPD has been completely disarmed. The citizenry does not want them to do their job, so they really can't, or they are not equipped for these sorts of riots, and they're kind of demoralized as well, just because of the years of propaganda against them and throwing, people like Derek Chauvin in prison for those sorts of things. So I think the National Guard coming in is justified,
disarmed.
considering that these are very violent protests. They're burning down cars, they're throwing Molotov cocktails, they're throwing bricks, they're attacking police officers, they're attacking the National Guard, they're attacking the ICE thing. So how is that not warranted? If you have a police force that's somewhat debilitated, I feel like they just simply need backup. And by the way, they're not shooting people and mowing down people in the street. They're using non-lethal force, they're using pepper spray, they're just giving some backup for people in a state that is very far left-leaning, as well as full of immigrants, where they realize that there might be a fight there, so they had to bring in some backup.
They might not be shooting with bullets, but they did purposely shoot an Australian journalist in the leg while she was live on air. Destiny, what's your understanding or your interpretation of what you're seeing? Is this the first stage of a police state?
Unless I missed something that came out recently in the executive order that Trump cited to deploy the National Guard, the U.S. code that he referred to very specifically was one where you needed the states to actually, the governors to make the request for the National Guard assistance. USC 12406, you have to have the request of the governor to send the National Guard down to help. So him sending it down unrequested, again, to quell a relatively small number of people, right? This is the LAPD, California Highway Patrol. They have a lot of resources available to them. I have no idea. Well, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. I have no idea why he would send them down. I know why he sent them down. Like, he's sending it down in order to provoke people, with the goal being to somehow invoke some kind of violent protest or some kind of violence against the Fed, so that he can, continue to pile on forces into California, a state that he's already threatened to withhold emergency funding from when it comes to FEMA, a state that he already played emergency funding games with it when it came to the wildfires in Los Angeles. Yeah, I mean, there's a time and a place for the National Guard needing to be deployed. This is not it. Newsom said it wasn't. The mayor of New York said it wasn't. Or I'm sorry, the mayor of LA said that it wasn't. So there's absolutely no reason here other than to trample on the rights of states. But I mean, MAGA completely abandoned their whole federalism argument as soon as Trump won the popular vote. And now all you hear them say over and over again is he has a popular mandate, he has a popular mandate, he has a popular mandate. So the same party that was obsessed with saying, we don't live in a democracy, we live in a republic, is now the most democratic majority rules, majority vote people, I guess, that have ever existed in the United States in my lifetime.
Lily, President Trump has joked outside the White House that if it was under his purview, he would arrest Gavin Newsom. I mean, is that really something we would expect to be hearing from our president during a situation like this?
I mean, I don't really care about jokes. They made whole rallies about grab her by the pussy, a joke that Trump made a long time ago. Why are we arguing
People
about
like
jokes
her
unless he's acting on
feigned
this?
concern about slave wages of immigrants, but every time they have the opportunity to raise standard of living, they're about to strip people of health care. Yeah, exactly. It's fucking nonsense. It's just giving you fake points so they don't sound as horrible as they actually are. And she's such a terrible human.
I don't see why it's a big deal personally. I think it's
You think it's okay to say that he would arrest the governor of California without saying or any allegations as to why?
Well, first of all, it's a joke, so I think people are allowed to make jokes. That's his freedom of
It's always it's a joke, right? If he says something insane, it's a joke. It's just a joke. It's just a joke, man. Come on. It's just a joke.
speech to make a joke about that. But again, it's not like that would be entirely unwarranted as well. I mean, look how Gavin Newsom handled the fires. The water was turned off. They just allowed the state
just
to burn.
a lie.
I mean, he has been an extremely incompetent governor, so I'm sure lots of Californians would even approve of that. But again, I don't even know why we're arguing about a joke. Unless he's doing something, I'm not interested in really arguing about a joke. Locker room talk? What? Okay, are we going to go protest more about grab her by the pussy? Like, please.
Destiny?
I just want to say real quick, I think it's really important to always observe the multiple stages of MAGA, and it's incredibly important for everyone to realize it. When you bring up something horrible that a MAGA person has done, the first step is always saying, oh, I don't know, I haven't heard about that. For some reason, they know every single intimate detail about, say, Hunter Biden, a person who wasn't elected. They know everything about his life. But then when it comes to like massive, huge things that the president of the United States is doing, they're unaware of it. So they'll say, I haven't heard about it. And then the next thing they'll say is, oh, it's just a joke or whatever. Who cares? It's not a big deal. But the most important thing, and they've demonstrated this time and time again, is the third part, which Lily did do, and that's that they will defend it. So even though they're saying they haven't heard of it, even though they're saying it's just a joke, if it does come to pass, they're not going to turn around and go, oh my God, I thought he was just joking. This is horrible. They're going to defend exactly what it was. So don't ever let any MAGA person get away with the, oh, they're just joking thing. You always have to ask them the next question of, oh, well, if he would actually follow through with it, would you defend it? Because the answer to that will almost always be yes.
Okay, Lily,
Well,
do you
first
want
of
to
all,
answer
I'm
that?
not MAGA. To be fair, for the clarification, I'm not MAGA. I'm a nationalist. So I'm actually not a huge.
She was
fan
like,
of Trump.
just to be clear, I'm not MAGA. I'm actually worse. Just so you're aware, I'm actually worse.
If the governor was arrested, if I can pick up on what Destiny was saying, do you think that would be acceptable?
If he went through due process and it was found that he was either a traitor to his country or he had done something illegal, if he went through the due process, then absolutely. If he didn't go through due process and they just arrested him, then I would be opposed to that.
Okay, let's get back on track with the National Guard focus. Destiny, if this had have happened in a Republican state, if we were talking about a governor that wasn't Gavin Newsom, was a Republican governor, do you think President Trump would have been as quick to overrule him, say that he was incompetent, can't look after his own state and needs to swoop in with the troops?
I understand the substance of your question, and I'll say no, he wouldn't have. But I would have to clarify, it doesn't matter if you're a Republican or not. It matters if you're loyal to Trump. Because if you're a Republican that kind of talked a little bit of smack about Trump, or you weren't always on Trump's side, Trump will come in and treat you just like you would a Democrat. Loyalty is very, very important to the king, to King Trump. So, but if it was like an ordinary MAGA Republican, which most of them are now, then no, he absolutely would not be acting the same way that he is now in California.
Lily, what do you think? Do you think we would see this in a red state? Do you think the fact that California is so vocal and the governor is so vocal against President Trump that it's maybe a little bit of point scoring here?
Possibly. I don't know. I feel like if there was massive riots like this in a red state, which I don't really think there would be, just because of the populace probably wouldn't allow that to happen. I believe if it was happening in a red state, Trump would still do it because he likes to force of power. He likes to show power. He likes a demonstration of power. So I think if he felt like the PD at the area where these riots were going on, he would have deployed them as well.
Destiny, do you think that it would happen in a Republican state, or do you think the populace wouldn't allow something like this to happen?
I think that the conditions are sufficiently different enough, like socially, demographically, everything else, that I can't see something like this happening in a red state. So, I think in a very broad sense, I kind of agree with what Lily said.
All right, let's move on to our final segment, and it's a bit of a broader discussion now, moving away from necessarily what we're seeing in LA to more immigration policies in general, because these protests come in a broader context of the president's large-scale immigration crackdown. As of Monday, the president's new travel restrictions come into effect. 19 countries, predominantly in Africa, are now either partially or fully banned, their citizens partially or fully banned from travelling to the United States. Now, the president says it's in part in response to the attack in Boulder, Colorado. The suspect in that case was Egyptian. However, Egypt is not on this banned list. So, Lily, how do you interpret these restrictions? Are they reasonable or are they racist?
Well, first of all, I do agree with travel bans from other countries. I don't believe we should have people from countries that we're at war with, for example.
She did
but
no.
In this
well,
case, this
no,
is
it's not about whether we're at war or not. You just don't want other people from other countries here. Let's be real. Don't lie to us. Don't lie to us. Okay.
one of the major critiques that I have of Trump. This travel ban is not about, immigration restriction. It's not about being racist. This is a jab at Harvard.
The fact that she had to say it's not about being racist.
Harvard has been trying to protect its students' free speech in the sense that students there are very critical of Israel. Students there have this strong Free Palestine movement. And Trump has, and this is one of Trump's worst moves, aside from cozying up with Netanyahu, Trump has been actively attacking Harvard because they are standing by their students and they are not going to tell them, no, you can't criticize Israel. No, we're going to replace the entire Middle East studies with people who are only pro-Israel. So this is not about immigration. This is a way of the Trump administration kind of foisting this actual crackdown on
Immigrants really Sieg her Heil. Yeah, well, now she's getting into the Jew stuff, so she's unlike a lot of the other ones, right? She's straight up not just on. She doesn't just dislike the immigrants, she dislikes the Jews too. She's got them all of them. She's straight up is unabashedly a white nationalist. How would Hassan do against her? He would implode. He would be so soyed out and angry that he wouldn't even be able to think straight.
On quote anti-Semites and anti-Semitism, and shrouding it in a way of see folks, we're banning people from other countries. This is
I personally can handle Destiny more than I can handle.
This is one of the worst things.
Insane. I don't like Destiny at all.
We're watching Destiny right now.
All right, yeah, let me tune in.
Talking to this white nationalist woman. Amazing how the white supremacists align with Hamas pro-Pally stuff. I know, right? Isn't that weird? Isn't it weird?
In my opinion, that Trump has been doing. But again, it sounds to the MAGA crowd, it might sound good. It might sound on paper like he's cracking down on immigration, but it's actually just a way of trying to bankrupt Harvard because Harvard depends on these foreign students coming in. They pay a massive amount of tuition. So this is a way of kind of like muscling Harvard by, hurting them revenue-wise.
Destiny, what do you think? Is he taking aim at 19 countries to take aim at Harvard?
I haven't heard the Harvard connection. Maybe that's there and we're just not aware of it. I do know that obviously he's been attacking Harvard a lot and trying to rescind their ability to bring in foreign students. When I look at immigration restrictions for conservatives, I view it the same way as I view them going after certain taxes. So like when they say no tax on tips or no tax on overtime, it's not because they think that tips shouldn't be taxed or that overtime shouldn't be taxed. It's that they'll attack taxes no matter what. And I view immigration the same way. I think that the argument for these country bans is entirely pretextual. As you said, for the attacker in Colorado, like the guy was Egyptian, but where's the Egyptian travel ban? I think that Trump will just do whatever he can to restrict immigration as much as possible, especially from countries he doesn't like. And I think it's as simple as that. He did in his first term when he implemented the 7-country travel ban as well. So it's par for the course for him, for Republicans in general right now.
Why would Trump, though, Destiny, want to sow divisions and vilify these particular countries? What benefit is there to him, to America, to the Republican cause?
I think that I don't know. I think that these are just easy ones to target right now. A lot of people don't like me with this. I don't read Trump as like a very racist person. He just doesn't come off to me as a person who is like obsessed with like race. He comes off as a little bit more like xenophobic or nationalistic in general, populist in general, where he just doesn't want a lot of immigrants coming to the United States. And I don't necessarily think it's from like I don't want brown or black people coming like from that perspective. I just think he's just kind of xenophobic in general. It's the feeling that I get.
Lily, last time I'm referring to Trump's first administration, where there was what was termed the Muslim ban. There was intense shock and outrage at those travel restrictions. It sparked immediate backlash, and there were protests at the airport. But not this time around. It's almost as if, what? Is it that people agree, do you think? Is it that they don't care? Or has this kind of marginalising behaviour become normalised?
Well, I think what's going on is we're finally starting to see the effects of mass migration. We're starting to feel it. We're starting to now go into stores, go out in public, and you kind of look around and you notice, oh, there's more of them than us, or there's an equal number of them than us. We're starting to see the crime start to really peak. We're really starting to feel the effects of mass migration. So I think people in general, collectively, black and white, by the way, are sick of the immigration, and so they are happy with any sort of travel restriction. Now, again, to go back to the Harvard thing, I think we should be restricting immigration from certain countries, especially when they predominantly do not assimilate. Like we had this whole Haitian crisis in Ohio. These people clearly should not be in our country. There should be a travel ban on countries like Haiti, for example. But again, I think people are just fed up with the immigration, and they're sick of seeing their country being taken away from them by people who are
As somebody who lived in Haiti, that makes me really
compatible
sad.
with the West, and they bring crime and drugs to the streets.
The Haitian crisis, as you termed it, or the situation, really turned out to be largely untrue, even according to the governor there. And according to the 2024 report from the American Immigration Council, of the 19 peer-reviewed research papers between 2017 and 2024, there has been no correlation between an increase in migrant populations and an increase in crime rates. So why do you think that is something that is very easy to roll out? Because there are no figures to support that argument.
I just don't believe anyone is actually doing that. The same as they're trying to skew the crime stats to prove that they're not racist. Like, you know, there was FBI crime stats that showed about 14% of the black population committed about 50% of the crimes. They're trying to skew all these statistics in a way to where that's not the case because they're afraid of being called racist. Again, it's important to know who is putting out these stats. Who has an interest in mass migration? Who is pushing this on our country? The same people who are doing that have a vested interest in hoodwinking the rest of us and putting out false data. They put out false data about COVID, so why wouldn't they lie about this? I don't believe it. I mean, people have eyes. We have eyeballs. We can see the crime.
Destiny, can you see the crime?
No, I didn't see any Haitians eating dogs either. I think even Vance was on, I don't know if it was CNN or what, where he said that, you know, if we've got to make a story up to get people to care about an issue, then so be it. I mean, yeah, we don't live in like the same reality anymore. I think there's a whole alternative media environment right now that has kind of been created by the MAGA and MAGA adjacent crowds to kind of fabricate a reality to make people think whatever it is they want to think about things. You know, it's funny, Lily brought up the COVID stuff. I hear this said over and over again on Joe Rogan and other shows that, well, look at what they said about the conspiracy theorists. Like most of us turned out to be right. No, they were wrong about pretty much everything. You know, there were no permanent lockdowns. There were no permanent vaccine mandates. There were no permanent vaccine passports. There was no mass death from the vaccines. There were no mass side effects that weren't accounted for. You know, the lab leak stuff is still stuff that's being looked into. There's no stronger evidence pointing towards it today than there was years ago. Hydroxychloroquine still doesn't work. Ivermectin still doesn't work. Like every single conspiracy theory that people tried to have about COVID vaccine, basically all of them were wrong. But somehow they walk around today like all of their opinions were vindicated on everything. And now we've got parents who have children that are dying of measles in Texas. And it's just unbelievable to me. But I don't know what you do to deal with the differences in reality that we live in right now.
I want to circle
So
back.
the myocarditis is not a thing. So people dropping dead from blood clots is not a thing, right? There's no back. There
So
was nothing wrong.
Myocarditis, there's a very small percentage of people who may develop myocarditis. That is true. That can happen. You know, there's always going to be certain adverse effects with any vaccine, and we track those things. The only way we understand that is because of the medical research. But beyond that, myocarditis is an acute condition, which means it goes away quickly. It doesn't stick around. It's not like a chronic thing. It's going to come and it's going to go away. And to add to that, the risk for developing myocarditis is actually higher if you get COVID than the vaccine.
This is a thing. The only reason
Let's see if Tiny says all of those things.
we know about myocarditis because there was research on it. It's anywhere from, I think, 5 to 14 people per 100,000 injections develop myocarditis or pericarditis. These things are acute. These only last for a week or two. It's not a permanent ailment that you have.
That's
Also,
my
you're likely to
streamer
develop
right
more
there.
likely to develop myocarditis or pericarditis,
Last one.
which is inflammation of like the heart muscles
you
or
got
the
COVID,
tissue surrounding it.
say it.
You're more likely to develop that as a result of contracting and having COVID and having the disease. People drop dead all the time. It
That's
happens.
my
We're just paying attention more to it
dude.
now than we were before for
That's
reasons of
my
trying to
guy
prove the vaccine
right
is killing
there.
people. The reality is we talk about, can't we open our eyes and look around and see what's going on? If there are hundreds of millions of COVID vaccine doses that were given to people in the United States, I shouldn't have to travel to the deep, dark internet on Rumble to find out somebody who's died, from one of these vaccinations. And right now, that's just the way that the world is. You can't
But
find
that's
these people
because they're
dying.
lying about why people are dying in the hospital. They
We're
lied
not going to
about
go
what
back,
people have been
with all due respect, and go back into
They're
COVID
lying.
because that's
Dude,
not
this
really
woman is such a
a relevant topic
conspiracy,
anymore.
like, cut.
My goodness, we had that debate plenty enough during the time. I just want to circle back, Destiny, to something that Lily said earlier when she was talking about these travel bans being a way of preventing people entering the country and criticising Israel. What do you make of that connection?
In terms of banning travel because of the criticizing Israeli connection?
Oh, but the idea that this is preventing entry if you have said on your social media negative things about Israel, about the conflict that's going on.
Personally, just from what I've seen, it doesn't seem to be that that's the case yet. I know a couple of people have gotten restricted at the border for things, and they say it was because of them being critical of Israel, but it seems like there's always a little bit more going on there. I mean, from a principled position, I don't think that should ever be the case. You shouldn't be banning people from entering the country just because of a political opinion they have. To the chagrin of a lot of people, further right of Trump. Trump is a massive Israel simp. A lot of older people in the United States just are, just by virtue of being older and remembering, the heroic tales of Israel, growing up. Obviously, the way that we view Israel in the world today is a lot different, just based on who their current enemies are. So, I mean, yeah, I'm always opposed to viewpoint partisan bans on travel or freedom of speech or anything like that.
Because Marco Rubio himself was the one that was like, if we see you at the border and you say you're here to be critical of Israel or whatever, we're going to chuck your social media. He's the one saying it. I mean, we don't have to speculate about this. You can go listen to the transcripts of him saying this himself. It's clearly a way of trying to quell anti-Semitism, which is apparently on the rise. I don't know why.
Destiny?
Whoa.
I'd have to look at the exact Marco Rubio quote. He might have said
Good
something
Lord.
like that. I was in D.C. for a week with my son on a field trip, and then I've been sick, so I haven't seen all the crazy. It's hard to keep up with the crazy stuff from this administration. I feel like I've heard Rubio say something like that. I remember it, but I mean, I would just say.
So then, Daniel, free speech isn't like an American thing, right? I mean, if they're like a terrorist, that's one thing. But if they're not a terrorist or they're not promoting terrorists, I think we're supposed to stand for free speech.
So far as if he said stuff like that, I would obviously disagree with it. If he
At
was
least
implying
that's
that
the
he wouldn't be
America
okay
that
with
I
people
know.
coming in who were, trying to do violent protests or something against Israel, it's a little bit more understandable, but it shouldn't matter if it's against Israel or if it's against Iran or Britain or any country. Like, you don't allow people into the country that are going to behave in a violent manner. You shouldn't disallow people into the country just because they're criticizing, whatever your favorite country is, whether that's Israel or whatever else. So.
Lily, I'll let you have one last reply there to what...
No. What makes America so great is part of that assimilation still includes keeping in, a lot of your culture, right? If you're trying to bring Sharia law here, nobody's talking about that. Those people, like, fuck those people, right? Obviously, we don't want that. But, like, for the most part, America is a melting pot of different cultures. And we should be promoting free speech. Bro! Fuck off! I just fixed this! God damn it! These fucking dudes! Free speech has boundaries when it comes to health. So, for example, when it came to COVID, a lot of the speech ended up being directly harmful to people. If your speech is promoting terrorism that is directly harmful to people, then yeah, I think we probably agree. But if your speech is just a difference of opinion, including like, well, I would like to see these sorts of values in America, but they're not necessarily promoting like any sort of violence or harm, then I might disagree with it, but I don't necessarily think that means we shouldn't allow it.
What Destiny has said, and then we'll wrap it out.
I mean, as far as that comment, yeah, I agree. I mean, we shouldn't have people that are coming in here violently, but I think we have to keep an eye out on this slippery slope of, you know, banning people for thought crimes and banning people for being critical of countries like Israel that we send billions of dollars to and mass weapons of war to.
We get
I
it,
think
lady.
that
You don't
it's
like the
important to keep an
Jews.
eye on
Relax.
that because first of all, they'll be deporting them and then they will start deporting you and I. So keep an eye on that.
Indeed. Well, we appreciate your input, both of you. A huge thanks to our panelists for joining us here on Counterpoints. We had Stephen Bennell, also known as Destiny, who is a YouTuber and political commentator, and Lily Gaddis, a cultural commentator and journalist at the Australian National Review.
As political beliefs go, I don't think you should allow promoting show. Yeah, no, everyone's going to agree with that. Yeah. 100% we're on the same page there.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, she cut Destiny off when he was saying thank you. How rude. Yeah, like if you are bringing in shit that's like cancerous to the way America works at its core, I think, yeah, we have a problem with that. That's something that Europe is currently trying to grapple with right now, and it's not going well for them. So I think on that case, yeah, we're going to agree. Most of us will agree. Like, if it's directly harmful to the country, no, there shouldn't be, like, we shouldn't be forced to keep people who are, like, directly harmful to the country. I need gun turret so I can finally protect self from these fucking dudes. Fuck off, bro. I just fixed that. Oh my god, dude. This is so annoying. Okay, I'm not gonna fix these until I have the fucking gun turrets done. Holy shit, bro. How fucking annoying is that, dude? God damn it! Nasty little fucking buggers, dude. Ah! So annoying. All right. I'm gonna do like one more thing. And then we'll do dailies. Then probably finish it up for the evening after that. Just want to finish getting this gun turret, dude. So I don't have to deal with these fucking twats anymore. Holy shit, these fucking little spider dudes pissing me the fuck off. Hey, bud.
No, yo.
What's good?
What's up, brother? Yeah, obviously, I mean by like political beliefs. I'm not talking about like even a socialist. If you got socialist beliefs, you come here. I'm saying, you know what I mean? I'm just being sarcastic. Like you can't talk
No. What you said was totally reasonable. It's just the woman we were listening to was fucking insane, and so.
Yeah. She says she doesn't believe Haiti should be allowed to migrate here. I'm against that. I don't believe that.
Yeah.
I don't believe Haiti should
Well,
be allowed
she
to come here. They're
also
so
is
fucking close to
like
our neighbors.
She's also like
if you're gonna exclude your neighbors, bro, that's crazy.
I'm also pretty positive she doesn't like Jews, based on some of the shit she was saying.
Ain't no way she likes the Jews,
Yeah,
bro.
dude.
There's no way she likes the Jews. I was looking at her.
She don't like some
Alright, man,
Jews. She don't like
that's
no Jews,
fine,
bro.
dude. You're allowed to dislike. You're allowed to dislike. She probably doesn't like any Jews. You're allowed to dislike the Jews.
Fuck.
My personal belief.
Oh my god, dude. These guys are pissing me off so much. Sorry, dude. Sorry. These little fucking buggers. I need to set up these machine gun turrets real quick. Yeah, this woman has a problem with the Jews, so she can fuck herself.
I mean, dude, I hate that myocarditis argument, though, dude. I still personally believe we shouldn't be giving the shots to healthy, athletic teenagers, young men,
bro.
People
But you
who would
realize
be
that,
at
like,
risk of myocarditis.
Every single
who wouldn't
vaccine.
be at risk for.
Well,
COVID.
hang on. Okay, goodbye, YouTube. We're about to talk COVID, so goodbye, YouTube. Go,
No, my
go
bad.
to bed for the night. Bye, YouTube.